Tonight, ABC Sports premieres its 20th season of NCAA football. And during those 20 years, what fun we have had. What marvelous moments we have seen. Let's go back to one of them. 1967, when USC and UCLA met in Los Angeles. And O.J. Simpson carried the ball 30 times, leading the Trojans to a 21-20 win over the UCLA Bruins and the Heisman-winning quarterback Gary Beeman. And tonight, here in Athens, Georgia, the Clemson Tigers and the Georgia Bulldogs will have at it for the 51st time. The 1980 national champions, Georgia. The 1981 national champions, Clemson. The Tigers beat Georgia last year in the early season, won the ACC championship, and then won their first national championship, beating Nebraska in the Orange Bowl. And more than 80,000 people are jammed into Sanford Stadium in Northeast Georgia on the University of Georgia campus, and they are at a fever pitch in these closing hours of the long Labor Day holiday. College football is back, and you'll hear roaring and thunder tonight like you seldom hear. For it's old full time. The Clemson Tigers 12-0 in 1981 against the Georgia Bulldogs, who were 10-2 last season, but were the national champions themselves the year before. The opening game of the season for both teams at the start of the 20th year of college football here on ABC. There is a newspaper headline from Atlanta that sort of typifies the kind of ambiance that exists. This ain't football, it's war. It's a little over an hour's drive between the two campuses. There are 26 Georgians on the Clemson roster. There are 7 South Carolinians on the Georgia roster. It is an old-fashioned Southern dogfight. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson. And what a pleasure it is to be back with you once again for our 20th year of college football. And this is one of the most colorful and traditional rivalries you could ever hope to have. Remember, it was Clemson that broke Georgia's 15-game win string a year ago. And now Clemson comes into this season with the longest win string in Division 1A, and oh, the Bulldogs would love to break it. This is also the year of the fifth-year senior, and we think that this season will be one of exceptional quality. Next Saturday afternoon, many of you are going to watch USC in Florida from Gainesville. And then on Saturday night at 9 Eastern Time, from Notre Dame Stadium, the Fighting Irish hosting the University of Michigan. That's just the start of it. So September 11, it's USC Florida, and Saturday, September 18, Notre Dame in Michigan. And there's a lot more to come. Right now, let's talk about this game and talk with Frank Broyles, who's an old Georgia boy coming back down here to wiggle his toes in the red clay. And it's fun to get back to the game, Frank. And the big story in college football the last few days has been the broken thumb of Herschel Walker and the impact of it on Georgia's team.
Keith, let me explain what usually happens. About 30 minutes ago, Georgia doctor took Herschel quietly in the back of the room and gave that thumb one last examination. He said one of two things to him. He said it's not nearly healed and it's too risky for you to play tonight. Or he would say it's nearly healed and it's just a low risk. And if he should say this, I predict that Herschel will go right to Vince Dooley and say, Coach, I want to play. Then it'll be left up to Vince Dooley as to whether it's worth the gamble.
All right, a moment on Clemson now. Danny Ford getting his Tigers ready to defend their first national championship ever. And here come the Tigers. They came down by bus today from Death Valley wearing the road white, and they brought everybody who could get a ticket. They only gave them 6,000 to sell over there, but I would bet you there are a lot of Clemson folks who have been shopping Georgia for a long time to get a ticket for this game. But Danny Ford and his people have been preparing to defend their first national championship with the dark cloud of an NCAA investigation over their head.
Well, Keith, I don't think there's any doubt about it. NCAA investigation is distracting. Danny Ford said it's on his mind. It's on the players' mind. And the players can relate to a possible suspension from bowl games or not being allowed on TV. And when you convert that, that's to the morale of the football team, and that affects the football team and the game. But then Vince Dooley takes the other side. He said he thinks that Clemson will use it as a unifying, stimulating element to rally his team together for a super effort.
And here comes the roar for the hometowners, the Georgia Bulldogs. let's talk about the young man who's got to play quarterback tonight for Georgia, John Lastinger.
Well, with Herschel out of the ball game, Vince Dooley has two things to accomplish. One, convince his team they can win without Herschel. And then two, he's got to change his strategy. And you're going to see the orchestrating and plays for a quarterback to be able to gain confidence for himself and from the team. We're going to look at this and see just how quickly Georgia can orchestrate this successfully.
That means throwing the short, sure, secure passes.
Very definitely. Throwing the tight passes that he can complete and have the team come back, pat him on the back and say, "That a boy, John. We're going to get him."
It also means probably that Danny Ford's people are going to firewall their defense and just say, "Sick 'em."
Very definitely. The thing that any coach would want to do against a young, inexperienced quarterback, and John Lastinger, this is his 4th year and he's never played for Georgia, but about 10 or 15 plays, they're going to go after him.
All right, now, the latest word on Herschel Walker. Let's go to a new member of our staff, Ann Simon, who is with Coach Vince Dooley.
Thank you very much, Keith. You know, there is only one question tonight, and that is, will Herschel play or won't he? Coach, what's the answer?
Well, the doctor says that the risk is at a minimum, so we're going to use him, but sparingly throughout the course of the ball game.
When do you expect to start him?
Well, we may put him in maybe around the start of the second quarter. We'll just have to wait and see, but he'll play some.
The doctor said 3 to 6 weeks until he was ready. How effective can he be?
Well, I think his effectiveness will be at a minimum, but we have some plans for him. We can't play him very long, but we'll try to spot him and use him tactically, and so we just have to wait and see what that is.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much. Keith, back to you.
Well, I knew he would play. There was never any doubt in my mind a man was going to play in this ball game. It just means too much in the Deep South. Georgia and Clemson coming up from Sanford Stadium. It's been many years since a night football game was played between the hedges here at Athens. 1951 was the last one. And what a great one we have with the newly enlarged stadium with the bright lights shining down on Clemson in white and Georgia in the red and black. And tonight's officials, Pistol Pete Williams. R.P. Williams is the referee. He's out of the Southeastern Conference. Scott Dawson is out of the ACC. Joe Curtis out of the SEC. Ray Menton, ACC. And Bill Stanton, Southeastern Conference. Bo Hackney, ACC. Ray Moon and Billy Tees also working with them. And you're looking at Tony Flack, number 8, a freshman, and Darrell Jones, number 17, a junior. They are the deep men as Iguabrique kicks off for the Clemson Tigers. It is in the end zone. It is dribbling around, and it is downed by Darrell Jones. And Georgia will take over. First down on its own 20. With John Lastinger at quarterback, junior out of Valdosta, Georgia. Carney Norris will start. He is from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Scott Williams at fullback from Charlotte. And Chuck Jones, the flanker from Valdosta, with Kevin Harris, the split in out of Eustis, Florida. Georgia had Buck Ballou here so successfully for so long. Now young John Lastinger, who incidentally went to the same high school and was coach of the same high school coach as Buck Ballou, who preceded him. Lastinger on a roll on the first play. Goes to the sidelines. The pass is low and incomplete, intended for Chuck Jones. Jones had turned it outside at about the 27, and he underthrew it. He had him open. Jimmy Harper is a tackle at 270 pounds. Mike Weaver, a guard, 275 pounds. Wayne Radloff, the center, 260. James Brown at guard, 245. Guy McIntyre at tackle, 235. And the tight end is Clarence Kay, 225. The Bulldogs have plenty of size up front. Kevin Harris is wide to the right. There is contact along the line of scrimmage as the middleman for Clemson, William Perry, came blasting across the line. The question was, did Radloff pull him off or did Perry try to anticipate? And when William falls on you, folks, you know it. He's 6'3", 310 pounds, a sophomore from Aiken, South Carolina, and it is illegal procedure against Georgia.
We have an encroachment foul against the white team. First down and 5.
William Perry, number 66, weighs, get this, fans, 320 pounds. The coaches at Clemson tell me he's one of the finest football players they have ever coached. We'll be watching him throughout the game.
I said the penalty against Georgia. Obviously, it's the other way. Encroachment and breaking it up the middle and going for the first down is Carney Norris, the tailback, a senior from Spartanburg, South Carolina. That's not too far from the Clemson campus. The defense for the Clemson Tigers lines up this way. Glenn Benish, Terry, Brown, and Hedden along the line with Rembert and Triplett at the linebackers. The secondary, Arrington, Watson, Childers, and Kennard. And it was Childers, the strong safety who intercepted the pass last year, that set up the only touchdown in that ball game. On first down, John Lastinger puts it up for the second time. Rips one to the sidelines intended for Chuck Jones. And for the second time in the game, he misses him.
We are watching the development of a quarterback who has been on this campus at Georgia 4 years. As we look at Herschel, and he's not played but very little football. Georgia must give him confidence. They've thrown on first down, trying to catch Clemson thinking defensive run, and Lastinger missed him.
The advice of Buck Ballou to Johnny Lastinger was, don't force it, take your time. Second down and 10 for Georgia from the 31. It goes to Norris, the tailback, with blocking on the right side for a moment, and then pursuit by Clemson shuts the door on him at the 34-yard line. Norris is at 5'9", 190 pounds, and coming across to make the tackle for the Clemson Tigers was number 53, Joe Glenn, and Vandell Arrington, a cornerback who came up in pursuit. You're going to see these corners, in particular Terry Kennard, coming off of free safety position. They fly to the ball.
Clemson very definitely supports very quickly with their backs, about like other teams support with linebackers.
Third and long, third down and 7. It goes to Norris. He tries to cut it back in the middle. There is nothing there. Number 71, Dan Benish, belts him down from Hubbard, Ohio, a big senior. Number 71, it brings up fourth down, and it brings on the Georgia kicking team, and that'll be Jim Broadway.
Going back to reviewing that 2 series with Georgia, they threw on first down, incomplete on third and long. They chose not to take a chance with Lastinger throwing into the teeth of the defense, expecting a pass, and ran unsuccessfully.
It is Billy Davis. Deep for Clemson. Number 3 is Jim Broadway. He averaged just over 41 yards last year. Normally gets good hang time. Spins this one, not a particularly long kick. Davis gambles on it and takes it. And the Bulldogs wrap him up at the 27. The ball was coming down, dragging its tail. If he hadn't caught it, it would have bounced deep into Clemson territory and probably been down around the 10. So Clemson will get the ball. We have no score in the first quarter.
You can't
for Clemson at their own 28-yard line. And the Tigers come to the attack with Frank Magwood coming wide to the left side. Homer Jordan coming home out of Cedar Shoals High School right here in Athens. Went to Clemson, and he turns around and hands the ball off inside. The running backs are Jeff McCall and Cliff Austin. It was McCall carrying the ball. There's Homer. He's not too big. 6-footer, 180 pounds, very quick. McCall's a heavyweight back there at 225. Austin weighs in at 195. Magwood, the flanker, is a 188-pounder. And Jeff Stockstill is a 6'2" split end. And he's at the top of the picture. Homer Jordan on second down and 5 from about the 33. Gives the ball off this time to Austin. Austin hit behind the line of scrimmage. And he was hit by Jimmy Payne, number 87. And Jimmy Payne has got to be a key man for Clemson to worry about tonight.
Number 87, Jim Payne, all conference as a sophomore, all conference as a junior. Watch him make his play. He is Georgia's big playmaker, penetrating in the backfield, keeping his feet moving. Georgia relies on him to really stop other teams' drives sometime before they score.
He went right past Dale Swing, the center, on the snap of the ball. Now we've got motion for the first time in the ball game. Jeff Stockstill, Homer Jordan hands the ball off. Cliff Austin has it. Austin has a first down for the Clemson Tigers as he runs it over the right side past the 40-yard line. And big blocking out there by Brian Butcher and Bob Mayberry. Gary Brown is 244 up front. James Farr, 230 a guard. Gary Massaro, the starting center, 235. Brian Butcher in at 255, and Bob Mayberry at 245, and that's where he ran on that carry with Bubba Diggs, the tight end, at 220. So it's first down for the Clemson Tigers at their own 41. No score in the first quarter with 11 and a half minutes to go. Again, it is Stockstill in motion. Georgia with a 4-man front up there. As they peel off on the corners, they give the ball over the right side to Cliff Austin once more, and he gets a couple of yards on that particular carry with Jack Lindsay making the tackle for Bulldogs. Here are the Georgia people up front. Dale Carver it in, Jimmy Payne, Jack Lindsay, Tim Crow, Stan Dooley. The linebackers are Thurston and Ford. The secondary, Harris, Flack, Hogue, and Sanchez. Sanchez, a JC transfer, and Tony Flack is a freshman. Very unusual. You see Vince Dooley starting a freshman. But this one's a good one. It's 2nd down and 8 from the 43. Stockstill again goes in motion. And Homer Jordan now on a roll. He is dangerous. He cuts it upfield and goes to the 49. That leaves him 2 yards short of his first down. Jack Lindsay, defensive guard, brought him down, and Tony Flack came from the cornerback position.
This is an interesting story on Homer Jordan, number 3, the Clemson quarterback. Went to Clemson instead of Georgia, came back as a sophomore, played between the hedges 2 years ago, had a bad game. Last year, he took his team to the Orange Bowl, national championship, voted the most valuable player in the Orange Bowl against Nebraska.
On 3rd down and 2, K.D. Dunn, number 81, is in at tight end. He's a very good receiver, and they'll flex him some tonight, but he's in tight on the short yardage situation. Jordan drops back, sets, flips it back over to Dunn. Dunn hits behind the line of scrimmage. Great play.
Dale Carver.
Read it perfectly. They were trying to set up a tight end screen for K.D. Dunn.
Most unusual call. 3rd down and 1, screen to the tight end. They must have known something and expected Georgia to be rushing from the backside, but Dale Carver plays it beautifully. He smells the play, penetrates, stops the screen before it has a chance to get started.
And it's kicking time for the Tigers. Dale Hatcher. Officials stop it for a moment. And Georgia is going to be charged a timeout. Bulldogs with a timeout at 9 minutes and 28 seconds to play in the first quarter. There is no score in a ball game, and the tension is already building. Play for the Georgia Bulldogs. They had that tight end screen set up pretty well. Everything was white on that side of the field, save him, and he sure did mess it up. All right, Dale Hatcher steps in. Number 5, led the ACC in punting last year, 43.4 average. Jimmy Harrell is the deep man. For Georgia, got some pressure on him, but he spins up beauty. Harrell goes all the way back to his 9 and puts it down because he was looking at a wave of white coming down. Spectacular kick.
Keith, I asked Danny Ford what was the hang time of Dale Hatcher's punch. He told me he timed him last night. They were 5.4, 5.5. I don't believe I've ever heard of that.
He hit that one 52. That's what we have for you next Saturday. USC, Florida, in Gainesville, Michigan State, and Illinois. The Illini open big game. Houston and Miami, and Virginia Navy. George Welch coaching Virginia in his first season, going against the old team, Navy. Georgia working from the 9. Carney Norris, the tailback. Great pursuit by that defensive side over there for Clemson. They just buried him.
Let's talk about the Clemson defense, which was 2nd in scoring nationally last year. They are an aggressive team. They don't play the bend and not break theory. They play, create confusion, pressure, and throw the other team back. That's the way they feel, and when you run wide against them, watch out. And that's what happened on Georgia on the first sweep that they've run.
2nd down and 10. Ball is just over the 9 for the Bulldogs. John Lastinger turns and gives it off inside to the fullback, and there isn't much there as Dan Vinish steps in and takes down Scott Williams. Scott Williams is 211 pounds, a sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. He gets it out to about the 12. It'll be 3rd down and 7, and you can see here that nobody, well, that's not right, because Georgia, Georgia offense had no freshman, but Georgia started a defensive man, and Clemson actually on the 2nd play slipped the youngster in there as well. Ball comes loose, and Clemson's got it. The ball came loose on the snap, and the Clemson Tigers have recovered the football.
Keith, this is the one thing that all coaches fear in the early ball game. If you can look at Vince Dooley, is a fumble deep on your own end of the field. And last thing, all he did was pull out early. It was a trap play, and when he tried to get away from the pulling guard, he left the ball on the ground. There should be 0 deviation in the exchange between the quarterback and the center.
Looked like that William Perry, number 6'6", all 310 pounds of him covered it. And here's Clemson with a golden opportunity. 1st and 10 at the Georgia 11. Inside it goes to the fullback, Jeff McCall, and he wedges it down close to the 8.
right here with Georgia having their backs to the wall after the turnover as we look at Coach Danny Ford, the coach of the year last year, the youngest ever, 33 years old when he was made.
Boy, was he tight as a guitar string this morning at breakfast, wasn't he?
He said he hated night ball games. It's too long a day waiting. This Georgia defense has great pride on this part of the field. Let's watch them perform.
Second down and 7 from the 8. Stockstill goes in motion. Homer Jordan gives the ball off to Austin. Austin is down to the 6. Both arms wrapped around the ball, protecting it. And he took some hammering as he was nailed by Thurston, the linebacker, coming hard for the Bulldogs. Here they are, sitting just outside the 6 on 3rd down. They can get a first down at the 1.
If you'd like to think if you gave the opposing team a fumble right here, you'd have them 3rd and 6.
Homer Jordan, touchdown. Perfect execution of a quarterback draw that Clemson uses with Homer Jordan, and he takes it in from 6 yards. Bob Pauling comes out to try for the extra point. He'll kick it out of Tony Ferretti's hole. Ferretti's a quarterback. Penalty flag come up. Pauling's kick through the middle. Looked like Georgia might have penetrated and been offside. The kick was good. Let's check the penalty.
Red team's offside.
So they'll turn it down and take the point. And the Clemson Tigers go out on front of the Georgia Bulldogs by a score of 7-0 at 7:09 to play in the first quarter. The touchdown.
When you've got a quarterback that can run, watch how they use him. The draw play is very effective. Georgia is ignoring the quarterback, something that you can do against 90% of the teams in America, but not against Georgia. Here's Homer Jordan coming back home and scoring the first touchdown.
Well, Tom Osborne of Nebraska said he'd rather face any other quarterback in the country than this youngster.
And I think he meant that because Homer Jordan is effective both with a run and pass. And you can see perfect execution on the quarterback draw. Georgia was looking for the pass, had the rush on, and ignoring the quarterback.
Massaro and Butcher didn't do a bad job opening the door for him either, did they?
Oh, it was a big hole there. And, well set up. Just a perfect call by the Clemson staff.
So Homer's home. Got his team on top by a score of 7-0. And the Tigers now will kick it off. And the deep people to receive it for the University of Georgia will be Tony Flack, number 8, and Darrell Jones, number 17. There they are. Jones closest to you. And Donald Igwebuike, a sophomore from Nigeria, will kick it off. Less than 50% of his kicks have been returned in his days at Clemson. They're going to run that one back. That's 3 points.
Right through the uprights. And that is a psychological thing that helps Clemson. Gives Georgia no chance for return as we look at the scoring drive. 11 yards, 6-yard run by Jordan. Pauling the kick, fumbles, setting it up, a direct result of a fumble snap between the center and quarterback, realizing that John Lastinger, Georgia's quarterback, is playing and starting for the first time.
Barry Young is now in at fullback for Georgia. 215-pounder from Swainsboro. They put a man in motion. Chuck Jones.
On a blitz.
And they went after him with Andy Hedden, number 12, the defensive end, really the man who got to him.
Andy Hedden is the key man in the Clemson defensive scheme because he was a former quarterback. He's played safety man, he's played cornerback, and now he's a defensive end, and it allows him to use a lot of different schemes and pass coverage and rushing. Just an outstanding player.
It's second down 11 now as they got Lastinger for a yard loss on the play from the Georgia 19. A roll. He looks. He's got to eat it. He gets it up to the 23. And there he gets a considerable greeting from number 82, Danny Triplett, and Johnny Rimbert, the two linebackers.
Here we get a good idea of what Vince Dooley is facing for this ball game. The lack of experience at the key positions. By key, I mean quarterback, tailback, fullback, flanker, tight end, and split end. None except Norris had started.
Third down. And about 7. Drop this time. He dumps it off short to the tailback, Johnny Norris. Norris is taken down on a good tackle by Johnny Rimbert, the linebacker, covering on the play. And it's going to bring up 4th down and about 5 for the Bulldogs. So they'll have to bring in Broadway and punt it. And Billy Davis will go back to receive it for Clemson.
The Clemson defense did their job on 1st down. They stunted with a safety blitz and gave Georgia a loss, forced them into a passing situation, and last thing was ineffective.
First punt for Broadway was 35 yards. A penalty flag down. Davis comes up this time, calls fair catch. He has good field position. Clemson has the ball up around the 43. But remember, there's a penalty flag down on the snap, and it might be that Clemson got across that line of scrimmage.
Well, Keith, we should say it would be a 1st down if it's against Clemson.
Pete Williams, procedure, Georgia. No, looks bad so far. 31 yards on the punt by Broadway. It's a short punt. I would imagine Clemson's going to say, we'll take the ball because we got good field position. Here's Pete Williams.
With an illegal procedure against the red team, decline. It'll be 1st down for the white team.
So here are the Clemson Tigers leading in the ball game by a score of 7-0, and they have good field position at their own 43. The nation's longest winning streak belongs to these Clemson Tigers. And they're lined up now double wide left. In the backfield, it is Kevin Mack. Throwing the block, Jordan's pass is away, thrown into the sidelines. And it is incomplete, intended for Magwood, the flanker back. Kevin Mack is at fullback, a junior out of Kings Mountain, North Carolina, and Chuck McSwain, a senior from Caroline, North Carolina. And the picture coming from the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise out of Pompano Beach, Florida, where the former University of Miami quarterback, Don Foscanek, flying it. Our cameraman up there with him is Charlie Mitchell. And this is the first time a Goodyear Blimp has ever been to Athens, Georgia. It's been quite a sensation. 2nd down and 10. The incomplete pass. Handoff goes inside to Kevin Mack, the fullback. And he slashes in there for some decent yardage. Gets it up near midfield. Clemson's running attack, their running backs are slashers, Frank. They don't really have the man that can dance a little and blow you away with one.
No, but they fit the style and the personality of Danny Ford, their coach. And that's good physical runners. A fullback, experienced two there that have played a lot of football, 2 tailbacks that alternate. That's Austin and McSwain. Each series of downs. Just physical runners.
3rd down and about 3 yards. They give the ball off to McSwain, and McSwain, looking for some daylight, is cut down short of the 1st down, and may have fumbled the way the Georgia people are dancing around over there.
Keith, I think we should set the scene of the Georgia defense entirely different than Clemson's theory. Georgia believes in stopping the wide plays and the deep passes, conceding short runs up the middle, and that's what Clemson will try to do, is run and make short runs up the middle and keep the ball by making 1st down.
McSwain was down before the ball came loose, so it is 4th down and a yard. And here's the punt now by Dale Hatcher with Jim Harrell deep for Georgia. Hatcher, first kick was 52. This one's not as long, but it's effective. He forces Harrell into a fair catch at the Georgia 18 with a high hanging kick. So with 3:32 to go in the 1st quarter, Georgia gets the ball back. Still don't have very good field position. Number 34, Herschel Walker, is on the sideline. Holds all kinds of records already. The premier running back in the country. Surgery on a broken thumb, but he will play before the night is done. It is 1st down. Georgia at their own 18. Clemson leading 7-0. Mix up in the backfield. Norris and the quarterback wrestling and running together. Carney gets a couple of yards on the carry after the collision. So the Georgia offense continues to look unsettled.
Well, with a quarterback, running backs that have started very few times, you're going to have some problems early, particularly against a great defensive team like Clemson. As I said earlier, Clemson was third in the nation in scoring defense, and they believe in punishing, pressuring any offense. Georgia's got to operate very, very smoothly and efficiently.
That's a five-man front. An encroachment there by Clemson's middle guard. So Devane, William Devane, number 94, 265-pounder from Jacksonville, North Carolina, encroaching on the play, and it's going to cost Clemson 5.
Devane is one of the Bruise brothers. They alternate Harry, the 320-pounder, with Devane. Tom Harper, defensive coordinator of Clemson, told me that
Got an
Perry,
encroachment against the white team. Contact was made.
that William Perry, the 320-pounder, only could play about 5 plays successfully without getting tired. So they used 2 nose guards, and we'll watch that throughout the ball game.
Devane trying to anticipate the snap. So the 5-yard penalty moves the ball out to the 25. And here's the first down as Norris breaks it over left guard and runs it all the way out to the Georgia 43. Vandell Arrington finally brought him down. So that's the first big play of the ball game for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Here we see the Georgia offensive line. Wayne Ratloff, who is a fine football player. He makes the key block on Devane, and that allows Barry Young, number 38, to break into the secondary, and he makes a nice gain and gives Georgia some momentum. Watch Ratloff, number 55. He is an outstanding player, 6'5". He turns Devane to the side, and there goes Young.
Barry Young, not Norris, and on first down from the 43, the carry is out just over the 45.
Georgia's best chances in this ball game it would be using that offensive line that averages about 250 pounds. They're experienced. Most of them started last year, and they have a lot of muscle and movement.
Second down, about 8. Jones goes in motion. Ball goes to Norris. Nothing there for Norris. He may have lost a yard. Again, that Clemson defense just firing. Dan Benish, the tackle, made the stop. But look how many people were there with him.
Dan Benish was all ACC last year. Watch him control the blocker. What linemen want to do, the good defensive linemen, use their hands, and they push the blocker away, and then they have the quickness to separate and move over and make the play. That's just an outstanding play by Dan Benish, number 71.
So it's third down and 9 for Georgia from their own 44.
Offside.
Lastinger sacked back at the 36. Andy Hedden, the man that got him.
Keith, I think one thing that the fans may be interested in, all coaches work hard trying to find the tempo of the other team's cadence. And once they find that, they practice so they can get the jump on the blitz. And that's what Clemson had, a blitz, and they wanted to get the jump. They were over anxious and got offside.
It is the third encroachment or offsides penalty called against Clemson. And all 3 of them have come for that very reason.
You can't believe the effort that we go through to find out the tempo.
Offsides against a white team. Still third down.
The tempo of the cadence of the opposing team.
Here's what Herschel Walker and Buck Bellew meant to the Georgia offense in 1981. So with Herschel out of there, you can see there's a big hole, and Buck has graduated. Lastinger going down the line, stumble. Turns it upfield for a yard or so and leaves him short of the first down. It'll bring up fourth down. For the first time tonight, the football is on the Clemson side of the midfield stripe at the Tiger 49. But Georgia's got to give it up.
If we look at Danny Ford, 33 years old, National Coach of the Year, National Championship. He's a Bear Bryant disciple, played for and coached with Bear Bryant at Alabama.
Jimmy Broadway's in. His 2 punts, 35 and 31 yards respectively. Billy Davis is deep for Clemson. Some pressure on Broadway, but he gets it out of there, and he gets a better kick away. And it bounces, and Georgia puts it down at the Clemson 1. They play on real grass here in Athens, and that helped that one. A 48-yard punt that is dead at the Clemson 1.
What the Georgia team did exactly what the coach told him and wanted to do. Make a couple of first downs. If you can't score, kick it deep. And Jim Broadway is an excellent kicker. Bill Hartman, the old Georgia fullback and longtime coach, coaches these kickers, and he is an expert at training these young men, and you can see the results of his work with Jim Broadway. Look at the ball bounce up like it had.
The man who snapped it, Mitch Fricks, was down there to put it down. So here are the Tigers now, where they've got to be careful. Down on their own one. Jordan, the quarterback, straight ahead, a yard.
Listen to these Georgia fans.
So the first quarter is over. In our initial presentation of 1982, and the Clemson Tigers lead the Georgia Bulldogs 7-0. Quarter of play. Clemson and Georgia, the Tigers leading 7-0. The Tigers have not had a lot of success here in Athens. It is second down and 8. The ball is at the Clemson 3. Double tight in alignment for Clemson here, trying to wedge the ball out. They turn around and hand it off. And they give it to McSwain. McSwain gets to the sidelines, dives for the yard marker, and he may have a first down. He took a lunge at it before Jeff Sanchez out of Yorba Linda, California, could have felt him.
What happened, the freshman halfback, Tony Flack, misses the tackle. And number 8, he's going to come in from the halfback. He has got to make that play. Georgia thinks he's going to force it back in. The 60 Thurston, the linebacker, is played perfectly except McSwain's speed, 4-4, gets outside and makes a nice game.
But he hit the chalk before he got to the marker, so it's third down and about 3, short 3. He hit the chalk, sideline. Here's Homer Jordan turning it upfield. Loses his footing, tries to lunge forward for the first down, and it looks like he might be just a little bit short.
I think you called it right, Chief. If they spot it where his knee went down, where the ball was, it's about a foot and a half short.
Well, Clemson is arguing first down, as they obviously should. But Pete Williams will bring the chains on, and it's a fancier chain this year in order to help everybody in the stadium, and certainly those of us working the television area, to literally define where exactly the ball is. Stretch it out, and he's just short. That much.
Keith, I think that if Georgia gets good field position, we'll see Herschel Walker in the ball game for the first time.
All right, Dale Hatcher stand back in his end zone. He should hit this one right around the goal line. He has kicks of 52 and 30 yards, but the 30-yard kick was most effective. It was down on the Georgia 18. Good snap, pressure on, block.
Dale Carver.
Carver came in untouched. Dan Dooley comes off the field carrying the ball. Kevin Butler in for the extra point try. The sophomore from Stone Mountain nails it. And we're even at 14:27 to go in the first half of play. Dale Carver comes in from end, blocks it. The ball rattles around. Stan Dooley comes up with it. And we're even at 7.
One thing that, Chief, has surprised you is that Georgia does not have a block kick signal on. They have a return, but they always rush one end or the other. Dale Carver from the right of the screen comes in untouched and makes a great effort. He leaves his feet, goes right in front of the kicker, and gets his hands up and blocks the kick. I mention it again, it was not a block kick signal. Only one man was rushing. There he is, number 96. Tremendous effort, and Stan Dooley comes in and recovers it for the Georgia touchdown. What a break for the Bulldogs. There he is, Dale Carver, senior.
Well, that'll pick him up.
Woo! Will it ever? And does it have a negative effect on the team? It allows the kick to be blocked. Clemson will have a hard time bouncing back.
Kevin Butler will kick it off. Very few of his kickoffs are returned.
Keith, Bill Lewis told me, he said, we always rush one man, even though we have a punt return, just in case the kicker kicks slowly. And it paid off.
Kevin Mack and Chuck McSwain are deep. That will not be returned. It's beyond the field of play. And so Clemson will get it first down at their own 20.
Holy cow, Keith. 2 mistakes, early season mistakes, setting up both of the touchdowns. One scoring and the other on the 11-yard line. And trying to match up these strengths, Keith, I would say the Clemson offense and the Georgia defense are about even. But on the other side of the ball, I believe Clemson's defense has a little edge on the Georgia offense right now.
Bulldogs got some confusion. And they call a timeout. Will Forts, the linebacker, was counting heads, I think, and he didn't have out there who he wanted out there. And time is called by the Georgia Bulldogs. They have had 12 men on the field. So we've got a timeout. 7-7 ball game in the first half.
Still on the line against horse like Johnny Davis. The WBA World Light Heavyweight Championship on ABC's Wide World of Sports returns September 18th.
Well, they're all decked out between the hedges in Athens tonight. 82,122. And it's Clemson's ball, first down at their own 20 in a 7-7 ball game. Both teams cashing in mistakes. Ball is handed off to McSwain, and McSwain breaks it for a first down out to about the 32. Jeff Sanchez, number 31, and Will Forts, number 42, bring him down. Another look at the block kick that led to the Georgia touchdown.
Keith, I should make mention that any high snap slows the kicker about 0.2 of a second. It takes the kicker, and you can see Carver block the kick. He was untouched. He was the only man rushing. Now let's see the end of the play. Stan Dooley, number 50. Watch him get that ball. Harry grabs it, and he has the ability to run. It's legal to run. He makes the touchdown.
Jordan on first down. Whips one to the sideline. Pass good to Magwood. Magwood is up to midfield and across to the Georgia 49. So Clemson opens it up a little bit now.
That was a beautiful call. Throwing in behind Terry Hogue, number 14. Terry Hogue came up on a vertical stretch. Jordan has good protection. He can read the defense. He has a man in the flat. You can see out here, Hogue, number 14, came up and covered the man in the flat, leaving Magwood open for the completion.
First down, Tigers, Georgia 49. They're handling Jimmy Payne. They're doubled up on him. You see it on that last play, and they're handling him right now. The Clemson offensive front doing a good job. The ball is given off to McCall, and he's got a couple of yards. Down to about close to the 46.
I think we should point out that Clemson's offensive line has been rebuilt this year. They graduated 4 starters. The only returning starter from last year's national championship team is James Farr, number 60 at left guard, right where they ran the last play.
Stockstill is to the bottom of the screen. Magwood to the top of the screen. The wide people, Stockstill in motion. On second down and 7, Jordan on a roll. Throws it on the run. Hits Magwood. First down, Clemson, Georgia 33.
Penalty flag, Keith. Looked like lineman downfield, probably. A blocking downfield by the lineman.
Tigers walking back. Magwood clapping his hands together, so it's obviously going to nullify the first down and the game. You're right, Frank.
Lineman, it's a new rule this year, a 5-yard penalty for lineman downfield and loss of down. One of the new rules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please don't go any further.
Well, the ineligible receiver against the white team downfield on the pass. Be a loss of a down with a 5-yard penalty.
As we look at the stats, we can look at Clemson passing in the first quarter was -9, but neither offense has been able to do anything. As I said earlier, I believe that Clemson's offense and Georgia's defense is about even.
On 3rd and 11, Homer Jordan goes short with it. And the pass is complete. And it's where he hit the chalk. He gets just over the 45, down to about the 44. Stockstill the catch.
Well, let's watch Jimmy Payne. As we said earlier, he had 12 sacks last year. He is one of the most fierce rushers, but they're putting 2 men on him. The first man is going to get him is the tight end, Dunn. And then 68, Brown, is going to pick him up. And 2 men can keep most any great defensive player off of the passing.
And so it is 4th down. And Hatcher is in. No pressure on him this time, and he shoots it straight up in the air. He's trying to kill it deep. And the fair catch is called down at the 16. So it'll be Georgia's football. First down at their own 16 with 12 minutes and 47 seconds to play in the first half. And the score even at 7. First man of the Tigers has gone to the chew now here in the second quarter. Georgia's ball first down at their own 16. Lastinger sets him up. Hands it off to the man up front out of the I formation. You have 2 fullbacks that are getting probably going to wind up with equal time. Scott Williams is in there now, number 30, just carried the ball. Barry Young, number 38. Carney Norris has done most of the work so far. In fact, all of the work so far at tailback. Ron Jackson is listed behind him, and there's a freshman named Keith Montgomery they have high hopes for as well. We may say him tonight before the game is done. He gained a couple of yards out to about the 18. Called it second down and 8. Jones in motion. Lastinger gives the ball to Carney Norris, the tailback. He gets a little head of steam and gets it up across the 20, close to the 23. So they'll be about 3 yards short of their first down. There are the 2 coaches, Vince Dooley on the left and Danny Ford on the right.
What a career Vince Dooley has had also. His stock in trade, I think, is organization. He can pick good people, he delegates responsibility, and he's very deliberate in making his decisions and rarely makes a bad one.
Only lost 1 Southeastern Conference game in 4 years.
Ain't bad.
Third down and 3. Yeah, here's Lastinger on a roll, pulls it down, and he will not get the first down.
A little bit cautious. Lastinger could have stayed outside, possibly made the first down, or at least thrown the short pass, which happened to be open, but he chose to go up and take the easy way out. Inexperience, something that will get corrected as soon as he gets over to the sideline from the Georgia staff.
They need a big shot here from Jim Broadway, the punter. Billy Davis is the deep man for Clemson. Broadway standing back on his 6. He'll hit it about the 10.
Here comes the block.
Nope. He'll get a little pressure, but it's a relatively low kick, but kicked away from Davis, so he'll have no chance to run it down, and it takes a Georgia roll. And it rolls all the way back to about the Georgia 31. So the Bulldogs will have the ball at the 31. Here are starters that are out of the lineup. Walker, we think we're still going to see tonight. Norris Brown, who may be the fastest of their receivers on the club right now with a leg injury. Jimmy Gilbert has a muscle tear. And the offensive guard, Gray, who's a big man, has an ankle problem. Coming up Saturday, these are the games we'll have for you. Oh, there's some good ones there. That USC Florida is really going to be something. The Gators winning 17-14 over Miami. And last Saturday, it'll be the Trojans' opening game. So Clemson now with the football, first down at their own 31-yard line. Georgia defense on the field. And Stan Dooley wraps up number 32, Jeff McCall, as he tried to slide around the corner. So Mr. Dooley is playing a prominent role in this ball game, isn't he?
Yes.
The University of Illinois and Michigan State to be the opener for the Spartans. The Illini have already won one. Houston and Miami. Miami losing by 3. And Virginia Navy. Interesting in Virginia Navy. And the George Welch, who coached successfully so long at Navy, will be going against it this coming Saturday. It'll be second down and still about 10. Oh, just over the 30. Homer Jordan stands, throws in the crowd, and it's intercepted. Dale Carver. Dale Carver, who has blocked the punt that led to a touchdown, drops off the defensive end, and he steps in to make the interception. And Herschel Walker is in the ball game, number 34. The crowd sees him.
I don't think I've ever heard such a roar for one player in my lifetime. Listen to this. Incredible.
Ball at the Clemson 41. Lastinger gives it on a reverse. It goes to Herschel, who is coming the other way and picking up the football. It's Tron Jackson. Tron Jackson.
It's a clip penalty.
But look out, there's a penalty flag back up here at the 33. They set Tron Jackson out wide, brought him back from that flanker position, and he got an escort down the sideline, but it's a holding call against Georgia. The touchdown is washed away.
What a beautiful call. Using Herschel as the decoy, the Clemson defense took off after Herschel, and the first play being a reverse, Clemson had taken the bite. Let's go back and look at the interception. Dale Carver is a senior, and you're going to see Jordan just stand there.
He holding against the red team during the run.
He should have tucked the ball down. He throws the ball right to Carver. Watch this. Carver is standing there. He doesn't have to move. He intercepted, and another great play for the Georgia defense.
Then the reverse with Tron Jackson carrying is washed away by the holding penalty against the Georgia Bulldogs. The ball comes back out to the 43, where it is first down and 12. Walker lines up behind Williams.
Here comes the blitz.
It goes to Williams, and he slashes to the 40.
Clemson very much likes the blitz on first down. That's the reason that you have to have a lot of passes called on first down to take advantage of the one-on-one coverage. There's Herschel Walker, number 34. 15 Georgia records at the end of his sophomore year. Career records, that is.
All right, they run Kevin Harris wide to the bottom of the picture. And Lastinger fakes it to Walker, keeps it. Gets it in the air. It is incomplete. He had a man, and he missed him. It was Norris Brown playing with a sore leg. And as I mentioned earlier, Brown, the fastest of the available Georgia receivers, probably.
Another flag down, Keith.
Hugga 4.
It's 3rd and 10. If it's against Georgia, I would guess they would refuse it. Well, they picked the flag up.
Ate it. And they do that. Clarence Kay goes back in at tight end now. On 3rd down and 10, the ball just outside the Clemson 40. Lastinger had his man Brown that time. He just missed it. Brown's going to throw it. Finish just missed him. And it'll bring up 4th down. He saw nothing downfield. He had Chuck Jones going deep. But then he tried to wiggle off the hook and look for somebody else because Chuck was covered, and by that time Andy Hedden had saddled him.
Number 12, John Latzinger from Valdosta, Georgia, has been in Georgia. This is his 4th year. Has only thrown 18 passes in the time that he's here. On that occasion, he used bad judgment. He could have delayed and maybe found an open receiver rather than just running across the line of scrimmage and get tackled for no gain.
Kevin Butler is in the ball game now, and he is going to tee it up.
Be a 60. Be a 60-yard field goal, Steve. No, 59.
59. He's going to hit it from the 49.
He has kicked 70-yard field goals in practice, according to the Georgia staff. They told me that yesterday.
Well, he was 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4 from outside the 50-yard line last year. He tried one from outside of 60 and missed it.
Clemson obviously doesn't think that it's going to be a kick because they have not put a safety man back. They're expecting a screen, a pass, or something. Let's see, the holder is number 3, Jim Broadway, so I doubt it could be a pass.
Broadway's the punter. 59 yards. Just short.
That was very close.
So Kevin Butler misses short by just about a yard. And the score remains 7-7. Vince Dooley made a decision to have Kevin Butler try a 59-yard field goal. He just missed. That's fine. But here's the other side of the story, Frank. Clemson gets the ball at the 42 of their own 42.
Georgia had momentum. They had field position. Very seldom under the present rule of the ball coming back to the line of scrimmage do you see that long the field goal with 8 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock. You're giving up the valuable field position.
So we'll see what Homer Jordan and the Tigers can do with it. Outside it goes. Goes to Kevin Mack. Back around the corner. He gets 4, maybe 5. Before Terry Hogue out of Huntsville, Texas, brings him down from his rover spot. Remember the name Terry Hogue? As a freshman, he blocked a Notre Dame punt in Georgia's national championship season. Played a major part in the ultimate decision of that ball game. Was it punt or field goal? I think it was a field goal. It was. Second down and about 5. Jordan gives the ball away, and there's nothing there for McSwell. Look at McSwain. They had him behind the line of scrimmage, but he just spun away from Dooley and encouraged Stan for a couple of yards. So he got something out of it after all, and he puts the ball right at midfield.
Stan Dooley is playing for the injured Freddie Gilbert, but he also played 6 ball games last year and had 8 sacks of the quarterback. He's a very quick player. Runs about a 4.7. He only weighs 200 pounds, but he has extreme quickness.
Kendall Alley, wide man to the top of the picture for Clemson. Jordan stays inside with it, stays conservative with it, trying to get his first down. He needed 2 yards for it, and I don't think he got it.
So according to the mark, it looked like the second effort might have given him the first down. It's going to be very close. Strictly second effort by the fullback. Jimmy Payne, number 87, is just the premier defensive tackle in the Southeastern Conference. He has the quickness, the speed, but he has the anticipation. He can make all kind of plays. Look at him turn his side and get away from the blocker Brown, number 68, and then he goes and hits the ball carrier. Mack in the backfield, but Mack twists, and it's going to be close. Keith, you're right.
Danny Ford isn't going to mess with it. He's just about a yard short of his first down.
Well, Clemson defense has been too strong against the Georgia offense to take any chances. Keep Georgia backed up. Field position is the most underrated thing by the fans. Coaches don't overrate it, but fans overrate the value of Georgia having the ball on their own 10 or 15-yard line.
Let's see now if Dale Hatcher can kill it deep. No pressure. Jimmy Harrell back on the 15. Fair catch. Georgia's ball. First down at the 15. That was a 33-yarder. But again, the distance of a punt does not always define its effectiveness. Monday Night Football premieres for its 13th season. Next Monday night, Pittsburgh and Dallas. 9 Eastern Time, 8 Central. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. And that's a rivalry that rattles the chandeliers across the country.
I'll never forget the Super Bowl those teams played. One of the greatest football games I've ever seen. Pittsburgh finally winning into the ball game.
Now the Bulldogs got their goal line at their back. Lasting a turn, gives it off to his fullback. Herschel Walker is not in there. Carney Norris is the tailback.
Once again, Wayne Ratliff, the Georgia center, 6'5", is blocking on 320 pounds. Yes, 320 pounds. Center, nose guard Perry. Watch the tie he gets, but he keeps his feet going. That's a tremendous effort because Ratliff knocked him back and got him leaning back in his own backfield.
Barry Young, the fullback. Norris, the tailback. Goes to Norris. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage, but gets a little something out of it. And that time, Mr. Perry almost got him.
Mr. Payne moved over to the guard's gap and shot the gap, and Georgia didn't pick him up. He's getting a little rest. The Payne's coming back in the ball game. The Bruce brothers, nose guards from Clemson University.
Ball is at the 20-yard line of Georgia. It is 3rd down and 5.
There we can see the defense is really dominating by both teams. Outstanding defense, about what we expected in the early goings.
Lastinger on a roll right. Finish. And the pass is complete on the sidelines to Chuck Jones.
It's not enough for a first down, no.
Andy Hedden, number 12, was heading him off over there, and He unloaded it to the short man Jones, and he's now better part of 4 yards short of his first down. So back in comes Jim Broadway to punt again, and Billy Davis will go deep for Clemson.
I believe that was the first pass that the Georgia quarterback, Glaston, has completed in the ball game.
That's his second. Broadway hits a bullet. Davis fair catch back at the Clemson 39. Good punt by Jim Broadway. And so the Tigers still have good field position. They've had the better edge in that so far in the ball game. We're all even at 7. Sanford Stadium, 82,122. It is the largest football crowd the Clemson Tigers have ever played before. Previous biggest was their 82,000 in the 1959 Sugar Bowl game. First down for Clemson at their own 39. 7-7 ball game at 5:16 to go in the first half. Homer Jordan stands up, throws to Stockstill. And Stockstill gets planted by Ronnie Harris.
It was a great play by Ronnie Harris. He had one-on-one coverage. He gave very little cushion. The emphasis in pass defense is changing directions. And boy, when he planned that foot come up, he searched Magwood and held him to a minimum gain.
Second down and 4. Max Swain looking for a hole. There isn't one. Lost a yard.
It's exactly what the Georgia defense can do so well. When they get themselves in trouble on 2nd and 2, they go to their blitz, shoot every gap, penetrate, and were successful with it, tackling.
It was a South Carolinian that made that play defensively for Georgia. Kenneth Sims out of Greenville. Remember a name, Kenneth Sims, that big old horse in Texas?
Do we ever? It was Arkansas, remember, and everyone in the Southwest Conference.
It's 3rd down and 5. Alley going in motion. Jordan rolling that way to the wide side of the field. Homer looking for some daylight and can't get it. And Sims again makes the tackle for the Georgia Bulldogs. So that'll bring up 4th down and about 3.
Georgia has changed their defensive strategy from last year. And looking at the film, Jordan could get outside of containment and turn upfield to either run or throw. Georgia defense has not allowed Jordan to get outside. They forced him to pull up too quickly to make any yardage.
All right, Hatcher's in to punt again. He hits it from his 35. Hangs it up there for Harrell. Harrell calls fair catch. He's still pinned inside the 20, though. He puts it down at the 19. Right now, let's go to Ann Simon on the sideline and talk to Buck Ballou, the man who pulled the trigger so successfully for the Bulldogs, and get a reaction from Buck.
Thank you, Keith. Buck, you of all people ought to know, why is this Georgia offense sputtering so much?
Well, number one, it's the first game of the year, and Clemson's got an awesome defense, and they're playing really well right now. You just have to be patient. Hopefully something will open up for us on offense, but this time they're really playing really good defense, and I guess it's a battle of who makes the least amount of mistakes, and it doesn't look like there's been too many mistakes except for the 2 that put the points on the board.
Okay, Buck, thank you very much. Back to you, Keith.
All right, Ann, hand off. Tron Jackson is in there, and Jackson moves it for 2.
Georgia wants to be very careful with the ball right here. Coming up on the 3 minutes left in the half, tie ball game. They've got a new start after giving Clemson an early touchdown with the fumble.
2nd down and 8. Lastinger trying to read it down the line, and Clemson gets him right about the line of scrimmage. And again, Kenneth Sims is in there, number 57, along with Roy Brown, number 47.
The Clemson defensive strategy, as I said earlier, is to throw the offense back if possible. Their tackles are coming on the inside shoulder tackles. Their ends are penetrating. Their nose man is penetrating and trying to force the plays wide and possible loss with a back supporting pass. There are the numbers so far.
3rd and 8. Lastinger looking to throw it. Got nobody to throw it to. He sent number 20, Kevin Harris, deep, and Vandell Arrington was covering him like a blanket. And by the time he turned to look to the other side of the field to see if he had anybody else to choose, William Devane was on him.
Well, Georgia used a play-action pass on 3rd and 10, and Clemson was not fooled. The linebackers were 7 or 8 yards deep, and they picked up the tight end in the back out of the backfield. Nothing there for Leslie.
Broadway into punt. This will be his 6th punt in the ball game. Out of a knuckleball. Willie Davis feels it, trying to get a little daylight to run it. Can't do it, but again, Clemson has good field position. The ball's going to be out around the 42. 34-yard punt. This is what we have for you at halftime. Jim Lampley, Jack Whitaker, and Bino Cook, who will be involved with our pregame and our post-games on college football today. We'll have highlights of some Saturday's games for you. We'll have an interview with Herschel Walker, and we'll have highlights of this first half. Ball is on the 42. Homer Jordan still got it. He had Magwood for a moment. Now the door closes there, and he delivers the ball short to Jeff McCall, the fullback, swinging out of the backfield, and he gets about 7 or 8 yards. He moves it from the 42 up near midfield.
A bootleg pass really holds the linebackers on first down. He fakes to Austin going up the middle, but the judgment. Here is where Jordan is so good. He hesitates, he runs, he hesitates, and he finally finds the fullback back open and hits him for a nice gain of 9 yards.
Terry Hogue knocks him out. 2nd down and 2. Clock still in motion. Jordan rolls it the other way. Wants to throw it, gets it off, and it is incomplete. He was looking at Magwood, and he really was, if he decided to throw it away, he made a good decision because Magwood had red shirts on both sides of it.
Georgia has changed. I'm very impressed with the Georgia defense and the adjustments that they have made in defending Homer Jordan, the quarterback of Clemson, from last year. They've changed their strategy. They now have 2 men coming from outside on the rollout, giving their defensive backs a better chance to cover their receivers. Jordan does not have the time to choose his receivers.
3rd down and about 2 for Clemson of midfield. Gives the ball to Austin, and Austin gets the first down for Clemson at the Georgia 47, brought down by Will Forts, linebacker for the Bulldogs. There's the time remaining, 1 minute and 46 seconds to play in the first half. A 7-7 ball game. Now Clemson can pick up 1 more first down with time running out here in the first half. They're going to be in field goal range.
I'm sure that's their game plan. They've told their team, and the quarterback Jordan will step in the huddle and say, men, we can make 1 first down. We've got a chance to go out with a lead at halftime. 1:35 to go in the first half. Jordan back, looks for Magwood, goes short over the middle. Pass is incomplete. Clemson screaming for pass interference. K.D. Dunn had come across the tight end over the middle. Will Forts, number 42, Keith, really picked him up. That's excellent play. One of the toughest things to defend in the back is a short pass to the tight end, but Will Forts changes directions beautifully, reacts, and watch him come up. Number 42. And he could have been interference. He did make contact just before the ball got there. Very close.
2nd down and 10. Ball just short of the Georgia 47. Getting a little heat now. Gets his pass off. It's intercepted. Tony Flack picks it off. And it's Georgia's ball down at the 40. So the freshman comes up with a big play.
The freshman, Tony Flack from North Carolina, made a great play, but the reason for the interception, watch Jimmy Payne to the right of your screen. We'll be calling his, watch 87, play off the block. He's a defensive tackle. Now he's chasing Jordan, makes him throw the ball off balance, and Flack, the freshman, catches that ball and makes a nice range.
All right, the Georgia Bulldogs stop Clemson's bid for at least 3 points in the closing moments of the first half. Bulldogs have it back at their own 40. Lastinger is going to drop and throw, and he goes deep. And it's intended for Norris Brown, and it is incomplete. And there's good coverage downfield by Arrington for Clemson.
Norris Brown, number 88, has, as Keith has already mentioned, the most speed of any Georgia receivers. The Clemson backs are really treating the Georgia receivers with contempt. I don't believe that either Jones or Harris, the wide receivers of Georgia, have the speed to go deep. And therefore, the cornerbacks are not honoring their threat and are covering those short passes.
It's second down and 10 now with 1 minute and 12 seconds to play in the first half. That's Con Jackson in motion. Ball goes to him. He doesn't hang on to it. Trying to run before he got a handle. Jeff Suttle, number 23, was over there.
As we look at Vince Dooley, in his 19th year at the University of Georgia, the athletic director as well as the head football coach, has for the last 10 years served as chairman of the ethics committee of the American Football Coaches Association, now serves on the board of trustees and will eventually be president of the American Football Coaches Association. Quite a man, quite a gentleman, quite a football coach.
Charles Jr., number 80, is in now. Senior out of Waycross. Going for as much speed as they can get. Lastinger gets his pass off over the middle. It goes to Jr. And Jr. gets out of bounds, stopping the clock at 57 seconds to play. Harrington was back there chasing him. But once Charles Jr. got his hands on the ball, all he wanted was the sideline.
There is a great effort by Jr. getting deep in the middle, and he reacts to the scramble by Lastinger. The ball is right on target. That's what Lastinger needed, to scramble, hit the receiver, make a nice game, fire up his football team, and get in full field goal range if they can't score.
And Butler has this kind of range. First down. The ball is at the Clemson 33. Lastinger rolls and throws. Pass is complete to Scott Williams, the fullback. And Williams takes the ball inside the 25 to the 23. Time remaining there. Timeout call. Clemson man, Terry... Jeff Suttle shaken up on the play.
And Keith, they're going to measure to see if it's a first down. This will keep the clock stopped a little bit longer, and Georgia can get the play called out of the huddle and get up the line of scrimmage and be ready to go if they would.
They got time for 2 plays and a kick.
They have
at least 2 plays. 43 seconds.
And we asked our statistician, how many timeouts does Georgia have left? 2 timeouts left. Well, that's what it says on the board, doesn't it?
1. Suttle will leave. Jeff was shaken up. He was involved in the tackle on Williams. And they put the ball down. You're going to see they're just short of a first down. Less than a yard. About a half a yard. So fortune has swung swiftly here on the Tony Flack interception as Homer Jordan tried to force it.
Georgia's right up the line of scrimmage. As soon as the officials start the clock, Georgia will be in position to snap the ball, thus saving time.
And the ball off to Con Jackson. And Jackson trying for the first down. That'll stop the clock again with 31 seconds, 30 seconds. They're still running.
Georgia
got 1 timeout remaining.
Yes,
so now they stop it. They'll probably bring the change back.
26 seconds on the clock, 1 timeout for Georgia. The clock will stay in a stop position until the referee signals whether it's a first down or not and gets the change back over to the boundary. Georgia should call their play, get up the line of scrimmage, and be ready to run the play and save as much time as possible.
They still have the timeout, so they can run another play, call a time, and then settle in for their kick, and they're still just short. So it'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 feet. 26 seconds to run a play, and then I think we'll see Kevin Butler.
Set the ball up to the right, directly in front of the goalpost, and make the kick even easier for Kevin Butler, who was all Southeastern Conference freshman kicker last year.
They go to the tailback, trying to get the first down again, and the clock is now running at 13, and stops at 13. Con Jackson, the tailback.
I guess they ran to the left because of the size of Jimmy Harper, the left tackle, at 275, and Mike Weaver, the left guard, at 275. But it didn't put the ball in position, for better position for the field goal.
Well, he's a sidewinder, so he's got a natural hook on it. I'll tell you one thing, the Bulldogs are playing that clock like a harp.
Timeout when Georgia couldn't get their defense lined up has been very, very disadvantageous to them.
They're still short of the first down. Now it's down to about 6 inches. And here comes Butler.
They've got to call timeout or they won't get the play off.
That's right. They got 13 seconds. The field goal team is out there. Jim Broadway to hold it and Kevin Butler to kick it. And now I think Georgia's going to call the time. They do. So, with the score 7-7, 13 seconds remaining in the first half of play, the Georgia Bulldogs have a chance for a 39-yard field goal.
Clemson University Tigers, the 1981 National Football Champions. You'll be hearing more from them in the coming years. You'll also be hearing more about Clemson University's high standards of academic excellence. Its 9 colleges, outstanding faculty, bright, well-prepared students. Clemson Tigers, Clemson graduates. You'll be hearing more from number 1.
Jim Broadway will take the snap, put the ball down at the 29, making it a 39-yard field goal try. The Clemson Tigers, on the other hand, want to put as much pressure on sophomore Kevin Butler as they possibly can, so they retaliate by calling a timeout themselves. They want to let the old cooker heat up on Kevin.
Well, let's talk about Kevin Butler. As a freshman last year, he kicked 37 out of 38 extra points in the regular season, and he had 19 out of 26 field goals. Has a very strong and accurate leg. The Georgia coaches have great confidence, which we've already seen with that, 59-yard field goal attempt with 8 minutes left to go on the clock.
It looked like it was going to be Clemson going for the three-pointer until Flack steps. And then Lastinger hit Junior. And Junior made a big play out of it. And since that time, when Junior went out of bounds, there was 57 seconds to play. And the Bulldogs have really played the clock. Now with 13 ticks remaining, Butler will go for it from 39 yards.
3-man effort, a good snap, good hold, and a good kick. 3-man team effort.
82,000 plus coming up to watch it. It's plenty long. It's good. That kid is impervious to pressure. He doesn't understand the word. Georgia takes the lead 10-7 with 9 seconds to play. Well, the Butler did do it, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Boy, it's a great sense of security to have a kicker like Butler. When you get stopped, you can expect to come out with 3 points and a lead in the ball game and go in at halftime in that dressing room with 3 points.
Next Saturday, these are the games we have for you, highlighted by the USC-Florida opening game for the Southern California Trojans. Second game for the Gators, who took a close win over the Miami Hurricane. Some of you will be watching Miami and Houston. It'll be the opener for the Houston Cougars, Bill Yeoman's team. Also the opener for Michigan against Illinois, and Illinois scored 49 in their opener. And Virginia Navy both opening the season. Those are regional games coming up next Saturday here on ABC. The kickoff coming up now with 9 seconds to play in the first half with Kevin Mack and Chuck McSwain, the deep people for the white-shirted Tigers of Clemson.
With only 9 seconds on the clock, I would expect Butler to kick it on the ground, maybe to one of the linemen, to one of the up-backs.
Well, he kicks it so far that they're seldom returned, and there is no return on this one. Clemson has not been able to return a kickoff so far tonight. So we've still got 9 seconds to play as the Tigers come up to their 21st down.
Keith, all the 3 touchdowns have really been set up by offensive mistakes. A fumble by Georgia, 11-yard touchdown. A block kick on Clemson for a touchdown. An intercepted pass by freshman Tony Flatt for Georgia, setting up their field goal.
They're going to run it out. They take the snap and let the clock run off. So the first half is over here in Athens, Georgia. And the score, Georgia 10, Clemson 7. Mistakes, opening opportunities. And with Coach Vince Dooley's team leading, let's visit with him as Ann Salmon talks to him.
Georgia is up by 3, but Lastinger has had some problems. Are you happy with his performance so far?
Well, our whole offense has had some problems. I think, first of all, it's a credit to Clemson's defense, but also I think we're partly responsible for it. And maybe we'll settle down a little bit in the second half. We got to move the ball and got to make a few first downs if we're going to have a chance in this ball game.
Any plans on changing your quarterback by chance?
No, we'll stick with John, and I think maybe after the first half, maybe he'll get a little bit more relaxed in the second half. I hope so anyway.
You brought Herschel in. It looked like you tried to surprise Clemson.
Well, we did, except we made an error. At least the officials saw an error, and it cost us a touchdown. But who knows what will happen in the second half.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you, Keith.
All right, Ann. NCAA college football, Clemson and Georgia, will continue here on ABC after this message from our local station. This is the pregame, part of the halftime, and the postgame, the way we're presenting the game this year on ABC television. And our co-hosts are Jack Whitaker and Jim Lampley. Since they're here, let's put them to work. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you very much, Keith. Yes, Jim and I will be with you on the pregame show, halftime, and the postgame all throughout the rest of this college season. We'll bring you highlights from games around the country as fast as we can and as accurately as we can, all the scores. We'll bring you some feature stories, some editorials, and essays. And on those latter points, Jim, you've been working on a story now for almost a year, haven't you?
Yes, Jack. I'm concerned about a problem that has to do with the ongoing NCAA investigation of Clemson, which Keith and Frank referred to at the top of the telecast. Many of us who cover NCAA sports believe that one of that organization's thorniest problems in enforcement and a source of some unfairness to the schools is the excessive length of time it sometimes takes to complete an investigation and reach a verdict, in some cases as much as 3 years. Now, use Clemson as an example. Newspapers first began reporting that Clemson was under the NCAA microscope as far back as April of 1981. At that time, details of some of the charges against them became publicly known and were widely reported. We covered the story on ABC Sports last November. Of course, the irony was that Clemson's great success on the football field only focused more attention on their problem with the NCAA. And during that time, the university was cooperating with the NCAA investigation and not in a position to defend itself publicly. Finally, in July of this year, 14 months after the first headlines, the NCAA presented Clemson with a notice of official inquiry. At that time, Clemson asked for an extension of time to reply to the charges. The affair drags on. No verdict yet, no telling when one is forthcoming. Meanwhile, Clemson football can't escape from the stigma. Example, a lengthy article about Clemson in the New York Times this morning. Several paragraphs devoted to discussion of the NCAA investigation, the charges of illegal recruiting, the specter of a possible penalty. The simple fact is that even if the NCAA were to find Clemson innocent tomorrow, the school has already been penalized by 17 months of rumor, innuendo, and bad publicity. And I'm not the only person who thinks this is a problem. One man who agrees with me is the chairman of the very committee which will decide the case, the NCAA Infractions Committee. His name is Charles Allen Wright, Texas law professor. I talked with him Friday.
I think that is the greatest single defect in NCAA procedure, that often our cases do drag.
But isn't it fair to guess that when an investigation takes an extremely long period of time, there is encouragement to presume guilt regardless of what verdict you might reach?
It is undoubtedly true that many institutions are hurt simply because for a year or more, the press in their area and the coaches from other institutions who were recruiting against them were saying, oh, you know, Siwash is under an NCAA investigation. You don't want to go there. They'll be on probation the years that you're there. And that undoubtedly is hurtful.
It doesn't seem to me that you violate the confidentiality principle if you refer to a particular case where it is publicly known that an investigation is taking place. So I ask you, isn't this a problem in the Clemson case, the length of the investigation?
It clearly is. Clemson announced that they were under investigation, so I can confirm that that is so. And Clemson also announced on July 1st that they had requested, and our committee had granted, an extension of time for them to respond to the inquiry. My committee can't hear the case until Clemson has responded.
And in the case of Clemson, hasn't the length of that investigation irreparably harmed that institution's reputation?
I don't know that it's irreparable. I agree that they certainly have been harmed.
Well, we hope to have pieces of journalism like that every week on College Football Today. Another feature, as we mentioned, would be highlights of other games. Now, obviously, the only game being played on this Labor Day is the one we're watching, Clemson to Georgia. But college football kicked off their 1882 season this weekend, and we have highlights from 3 of those more dramatic games, and they will form the nucleus of tonight's Fireman's Flashback. Now, today's Fireman's Fund Flashback is brought to you by Fireman's Fund Insurance. And Fireman's Fund Insurance is brought to you by an independent agent or a broker near you. At Gainesville, Florida, it was Florida and Miami. Florida quarterback Wayne Peace, 18 of 20 for 220 yards, scored the game's first touchdown on a 4-yard roll around the right end. Score 7-0. Miami struck back on its next possession, the touchdown on a 6-yard pass from quarterback Jim Kelly to Glenn Dennison. The score 7-7. Following a field goal, Florida led at half 10-7. Miami took its only lead of the game when Mark Rush dove in from the 1-yard line, 14-10. The winning touchdown was scored with 1 minute and 48 seconds left in the game. Peace threw to James Jones, who made a one-handed catch falling into the end zone. The final score, 17-14. In Knoxville, it was Duke against Tennessee, and quarterback Bob Bennett of Duke, who hit on 18 of 29 for 288 yards, hooked up with Chris Castor on the longest touchdown pass in Duke history, 88 yards. Trailing 24-12 with less than a minute left in the third quarter, Greg Boone of Duke took this kickoff halfway in the end zone. And with some judicious blocking and a tremendous burst of speed down the right sideline, he rambled 100 yards for a touchdown. Duke scored another TD and then held off the Volunteers and won a thriller 25-24. Jackie Sherrill made his coaching debut at Texas A&M against Boston College. Quarterback Doug Flutie of Boston College scored the Eagles' second TD himself, rolling around the left end from 8 yards out. Flutie threw for 3 TDs, completed 18 of 26 passes for 356 yards as BC defeated Texas A&M 38-16. We'll return here to Athens, Georgia for more football in just a moment.
College football is beginning its 113th season. In addition to presenting the excitement of outstanding athletic competition during the next 14 weeks, the NCAA will feature a series of messages about many of the interesting academic curriculums available to you as offered by our nation's colleges. Hello, I'm Dr. James Frank, president of Lincoln University and president of the NCAA. The theme of this series is America's Energy is Mind Power, which will provide a unique opportunity to show the tremendous contribution that higher education is making toward the betterment of American life. Curriculums ranging from astronomy to forestry and geology to marine studies will provide a unique flavor of the opportunities available to prospective students pondering a career. The NCAA would like to salute the Council for Advancement in Support of Education, 30 national and 87 state education associations and agencies for sponsoring National Higher Education Week, October the 2nd through the 9th. This nationwide campaign promoting higher education will climax Saturday, October the 9th, with a national convocation at the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. As a college president, I am privileged to witness the tremendous contributions that faculty, staff, and students are making toward the advancement of knowledge. The NCAA would like for you to enjoy the excitement of college football and gain a greater appreciation for higher education during the telecast this fall.
America's energy is mind power. The preceding message provided by the NCAA.
Earlier this summer, Jim Lampley had a chance to sit down and have a nice quiet chat with Herschel Walker.
Herschel, you are always a person who produces some great quotes. I'd like just to go over a few of the recent ones I've read, which are unusual, and ask for your explanation. Some of these come right out of the morning paper. Quote, might not accept the Heisman Trophy if I win it this year. Did you say that?
No, I didn't say that. I said that I don't think the Heisman going to mean anything to me. A lot of people write what I don't say. They put it in their own words, and I think a lot of things I've been saying have been done like that. And what I'm saying here is if I win the Heisman this year, it's going to be like they're giving it to me because they feel sorry for me. And I don't want anyone to give me anything. I think I should earn what I get, and that's what's going to help me to be a better player.
Just from a philosophical standpoint, do you think there's any validity to the idea that writers and broadcasters can sit down and pick one man as the very best college football player? Or is it a charade?
Well, I think it's a charade because I think most people vote for people in their area. And I think the thing is you can't sit down and say he's the best athlete around because there are some good linemen who never get their name in the lights or anything. And it's hard to just pick one athlete out of at least out of 1,000 of athletes.
Quote number 2, Herschel. I don't know if I'll play pro football when that time comes.
Yes, I say that because I could do a lot of things besides play pro football or besides. I think I'm a person that can do many things and be successful at it. And when I came into football, it wasn't my sport. It was something I liked to do, but it wasn't something that I was at least happy. Right now I'm getting where I like to play, but then it's not my game. I love running and I love basketball, and I think I can go into the business world and be just successful.
This past spring, a great deal was written and said about the possibility that you might challenge the NFL draft and attempt to become eligible to play in the NFL. But you decided to stay here. Does that mean that you're now committed to playing 2 more years of football here at Georgia?
Well, I never commit myself to anything. And the thing that I did last year, a lot of people written it up wrong. They wrote it up wrong, sorry. But the thing was that I said that I think the rule was unconstitutional. And I said that I was going to challenge the rule, but I never said I was going to play NFL ball. And a lot of people said Herschel's challenging the rule to play NFL ball, and that wasn't true. I wanted the rule changed because I wanted my option. I wanted to do what I felt was right. And I wanted to do it. At least I want to have the opportunity to have to say so in my life, because I think everyone owe that to themselves to have to say so in their life.
I think you can probably tell that Herschel is studying criminal justice at the University of Georgia. Score at halftime, Bulldogs 10, Clemson Tigers 7. And let's now take a look at some of the highlights out of the first half. And though it's a low-scoring ball game, there were some obvious moments born fundamentally out of mistakes. And let's begin with a fumble recovered by Clemson down on the Georgia 11-yard line.
Keith, let me have this mic for just a minute, and let's hold and stop these highlights. And I want to tell the audience that before the ball game today, by official proclamation of the governor of Georgia, the mayor of Athens, that today was Keith Jackson Day, in appreciation for his distinguished service as a sportscaster, and in particular the prestige and honor that you have brought to college football in these 10 years that you have served us as the voice of college football. Keith, as your colleague and friend and fellow Georgian, we're proud of you. It's a great honor.
Thank you, Frank. I was a bit taken aback for it. I never know quite how to act about these things. I guess I could just say, oh, shucks, and forget it, but I did enjoy it, and it was a great pleasure, and always a pleasure to come home, because this is both of our home states, and it was a pleasure. I'm sure you don't want to hear any more about that. Let's get back to the highlights of the ball game, because it was a mistake by the Georgia offense here. Lastinger losing the snap from center, and big number 66 comes in there like a fallen tree and comes down on top of the ball. And that sets up one of the more exciting moments as Homer Jordan did a dance into the end zone.
It was a great call. The quarterback draw is one of the toughest plays to defense because the linemen are rushing the pass. They're trying to get depth, and they take themselves right out of the play, as you can see. And Homer Jordan, who has great quickness and speed, jumps right into the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown.
Now, a mistake here. As Clemson, see the Clemson man back there to block. He doesn't pick up Dale Carver at all. Carver comes in untouched from the defensive end position, blocks the ball. Number 50, Stan Dooley, then comes across and picks up a touchdown.
That was just a mental mistake by the Clemson fullback. He should have turned out. He has the option to block anybody, but Stan Dooley was right there, and he gets credit for a 2-yard punt return and a touchdown.
Now, it looked like here in the closing moments of the first half, Clemson might get in field goal range, but Homer Jordan tries to force one and is picked off, and it's Georgia that winds up with a field goal.
He was under pressure by number 87, Jimmy Payne, but the freshman from North Carolina, number 8, Tony Black, makes an outstanding play, makes enough of a return to give Georgia good field position, and with 2 pass completions by John Latzinger, they set up a 39-yard field goal by Kevin Butler to go out at halftime with a lead of 10-7.
All right, now we saw Herschel Walker briefly. We saw him used as the decoy. First off, let me ask you if you think Herschel will play in the second half.
I think that Vince will keep him on the bench. I would until he is needed desperately. They've gotten the lead with their quarterback Latzinger not doing very well, Keith, and they're back in the ball game, and I think that they'll be conservative here, let Clemson continue to make mistakes, and maybe win the ball game on Clemson's help.
Well, now, Clemson's got to open up a little more, it seems to me.
Very much. I definitely believe Clemson has got to open up. With Jordan, a good passer, he needs to use that weapon.
All right, that's where we are at halftime. We're about ready to go with the second half. A big moon hanging over Sanford Stadium, and the score, Georgia 10, Clemson 7.
NCAA college football, Clemson versus Georgia. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Mr. Goodwrench and General Motors Parts, who help you keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts. And by Sears, Roebuck & Company. For quality merchandise, wide selection, fair prices, and dependable service, you can count on Sears.
In 1785, America's first state university was established in Georgia. After 2 centuries, the University of Georgia has educated more than 150,000 students, is a leader in programs of direct service to the public, and is ranked as one of the nation's top 50 research universities. In 1985, its bicentennial will find the University of Georgia, the nation's oldest chartered state university, prepared to begin its 3rd century of service to the people.
Cook, who has pursued college football for the last 25 years with a passion that defies description. Bino thinks that college football is our #1 national treasure. He also is possessed of very strong opinions, which fortunately for all of us who have known him, he's not afraid to share. And tonight I think you want to talk about those people who think there's parity in big-time college football, Bino.
Pure propaganda. We first heard that parity was going to happen in 1974 when they started giving 30 scholarships a year.
And every school would be equal then with the 30 scholarships.
That's right. Somebody cannot bring in 6 halfbacks. They only can bring in 2 or 3. That has not happened. The same teams that dominated before the scholarship rule are still dominating and will continue to dominate. In the last 8 years, 64 appearances in the 4 major bowls. 7 teams, 33 of those 64 appearances, and that doesn't include Notre Dame.
Why is this, do you think? Why did the same schools remain on top?
Well, it would happen because of the exposure to television, the tradition. Take Vanderbilt. The only way Vanderbilt will get to the Sugar Bowl is if the other 9 teams in the conference go in probation. And it isn't going to change. Oregon State has not gone to the Rose Bowl since the 60s. Oregon or California since the 50s for the Rose Bowl. It's tough to catch up.
You think parity is a good thing, something we ought to be trying for?
I think parity would be the greatest. I would like to see Northwestern go to the Rose Bowl. I would like to see these other teams win. We're not going to see it in our lifetime.
Why not?
Just won't happen. It's the facts of college football that the powers will continue to dominate, even at 30 scholarships a year. Even if you went to 20 scholarships a year, it would still be that way.
Thank you very much, Bino. We look forward to seeing you next Saturday on College Football Today. And we'll return to Athens, Georgia for the second half of the Clemson-Georgia game in just a moment.
The Georgia Bulldogs will kick off to the Clemson Tigers to start the second half of play, with Georgia leading by a score of 10-7. The deep people are Kevin Mack and Chuck McSwain for Clemson. Kevin Butler hits it. He sails it to the end zone. So still, Clemson has not been able to return a kickoff. Now let's have a look at the big guys who will play defense. And here's a guy who really had a big half for the Bulldogs. Jimmy Payne, also a big first half at tackle. Jack Lindsay, a defensive guard. Tim Crow, 235-pound guard. And Stan Dooley, who got the touchdown after Carver had blocked the kick. Tommy Thurston is a linebacker. Will Forts is the other starting linebacker. And we'll show you the secondary in a moment. As Homer Jordan lines them up. Cliff Austin, number 7. And Jeff McCall. And they're fine on the ground on the first play, and the Georgia defense looks like it's come out steaming here to start the second half. The secondary for the Georgia Bulldogs, Ronnie Harris, a junior college transfer last year. Tony Flack, who had the big interception in the first half. Terry Hogue, who's playing a roverback, big Texas fella. And Jeff Sanchez, who transferred in from junior college out of Yorba Linda, California. Came out of Fullerton, J.C. It'll be second down and 9 for Clemson from their own 21. Pretty noisy place with 82,122. Homer Jordan gives to the trailback Austin, and Austin gets around the corner, gets up to the 30, and that will be a first down for the Clemson Tigers, brought down by Ronnie Harris. The offensive unit for Clemson, Jordan at quarterback, Austin the tailback, McCall at full, Magwood the flanker, and Stockstill the split end. Big guys up front are Brown, Farr, Massaro, Butcher, Mayberry, and Diggs, with K.D. Dunn getting some playing time at tight end as well. Neither quarterback particularly successful in the ball game.
A combination of being very conservative and strong defense.
Homer Jordan, 5 out of 11 for only 31 yards, but 2 interceptions. On the first down play, he gives the ball to McCall. McCall's got the better part of 5 as he falls across the 35. So it'll be second down and 5. And the biggest play in the ebb and flow of a college football game is almost always the first down play, because it opens up so many opportunities for you. But opportunities, as you can see from these numbers in the first half, Frank, were frittered away.
They certainly were. Neither offense showed very much imagination, and that's to be expected in the first ball game. Defense is dominated. The big play, the turnover, is 3 by Clemson and 1 by Georgia.
Second down and 5 from the 35. Jordan gives it again to Austin. Austin over the right side, running between the center and the right guard, brought down by Tim Crow, a defensive lineman in the middle. And they list him here at Georgia as a guard. Big fella out of Stone Mountain. The ball is just short of the 39. It'll be third down and 2.
In third down situations at the pass, Jordan, the quarterback, is taking the ball wide and has not been successful.
Crowd really making noise now as Jordan calls a long count, gives to Cliff Austin. Austin cannot get the first down. The Georgia defense read it perfectly and came up and made a hit that really stuck. Ronnie Harris, number 27, and Nate Taylor, number 47.
Any coach who's ever worked on defense will appreciate the play by Ronnie Harris out of junior college a year ago. Watch him come up to the outside and stick Cliff Austin, the tailback, right on the numbers and stop him short of the first down.
Dale Hatcher is in the punt now. Gets his kick away. Jimmy Harrell drifting under. It's going to try to return one. And he is unable to. He runs laterally for about 4 steps, but he stopped on about the 24. Joe Glenn is the defensive end for the Clemson Tigers. Dan Vinish is a big tackle, played well in the first half. William Perry is that 320-pounder in the middle. Ray Brown weighs in at 231. He's out of Rome, Georgia. Andy Hedden had a good first half, playing defensive end for the Tigers. The linebackers are Johnny Rimbert and Danny Triplett. Georgia's ball, first down at their own 24. John Lastinger at quarterback. And Lastinger is going to put it up on the first play, and he drills it. And no, it's loose. Clarence Kay gets loose. Big play. The tight end is finally out of bounds. First down inside the Clemson 25.
When you see this again, it's a great throw. But what I want to talk about is Clarence King. The Georgia coaches tell me he's the most physical player on the Georgia football team. He's the tight end. He weighs 230, and you can see why they think that. He is physically tough. But now let's look at the timing. 4-5 step, rifles the ball, and there is the physical attributes of Clarence King, number 84, big tight end of Georgia.
And Herschel Walker is in the ball game at tailback. And Walker has it. And he bangs into the line, and he goes for about 3 from the 23 down to about the 20. Brought down by Joe Glenn. So Walker's in. Again, second appearance in the game, his first carry of the game.
You can see the Georgia players are trying to tell their fans to be quiet. I've never seen the whole band so active and maybe interfering with the Georgia signal call.
That 51-yard pass run play from Lastinger to Clarence Kay, setting up this opportunity for the Bulldogs. Second down and 7 on the Clemson 20. And timeout called by the University of Georgia. That should help quiet the crowd down a little bit. Lastinger wants to talk to the coaches. 11:05 to go, third quarter.
Roger, control.
Heavyweight champ Michael Spinks puts his title on the line against horse-like Johnny Davis. The WBA World Light Heavyweight Championship on ABC's Wide World of Sports returns September 18th.
With a second down and 7 at the Clemson 20. Herschel Walker has carried the ball for the first time in the game. He's now 38th on the NCAA career rushing ladder with 3,510 yards. Let's see if he gets it again. Nope, Lastinger rolls it out. Throws it back the other way. The pass is caught by the fullback, Scott Williams. And Williams is inside the 5 for the 3. First and goal to go, Georgia. Lastinger's numbers are catching up, Frank. He's now 6 out of 11 for 108 yards.
And believe me, his confidence, look at the throw all the way back across the grain. And Williams, number 30, shows his running ability and gets down to the 3. Watch the block by Herschel Walker on the defense end. He's going to take his shoulder and just knock number 71, all conference Dan Finish, down on the ground.
First and goal to go. The ball goes to Herschel. And he is hit behind the line of scrimmage, and it was a cornerback shooting through there, Ronald Watson. The first time we've called his name tonight, and he makes a big play.
And a big play it was indeed, because he tackled Herschel in the backfield.
Loss is back to the 6, a loss of 3 yards on the play by Watson.
Herschel Walker playing with that broken thumb. Didn't expect to play.
Lastinger still got it. He is brought down by Ronald Watson just short of the goal line.
I'm going to tell you something. John Lastinger is a different player. You can see the quickness. He exercised the option of keeping the ball on that last play and darted. And I mean jumped through the hole for a gain down to the, what, the 1 yard line.
1 yard. Yep, ball sitting right on the 1 yard hash mark. Penalty flags. Herschel's in the end zone, but a penalty flag.
Georgia put a man in motion, and the offensive linemen were a little bit too eager, it appeared, from this point.
Georgia lost a touchdown earlier on a reverse by Tron Jackson because of holding.
Now Georgia's going to have to come up with a big play. 3rd and 6 means it's going to rely pretty much on Lastinger making an outstanding play.
Offside, Georgia. So there was movement inside.
Keith, many times when the offensive team put a man in motion, it extends your snap count, and Georgia was so anxious to get the ball in the end zone. They knew Herschel could go over the top, and the line just a little anxious.
51 of that 70 yards is involved in that one pass run play. Here's the call by Pete Williams.
Red team jumped offside. But most of the first half yardage was on that scramble pass to Charles Jr. that set up the field goal.
That's right.
So the young man is coming of age. We're seeing the building of a quarterback right here for Georgia.
Third and goal to go from the 6. He comes back. His intended receiver falls down. Clarence Kay gets tangled up and falls down, and the pass drops incomplete. No interference. They just simply got tangled up there, and he lost his footing.
He would have been open for the touchdown. This is the same pass that Georgia scored on Pittsburgh in the Sugar Bowl. The crossing in is the toughest pattern to cover on the goal line. Number 12, Heaton, pushes him down with his left hand, and that is illegal. As you can see, he just heading number 12, pushed him down and saved the touchdown.
An official standing right there looking at it, too.
He got away with it.
Yep. Butler now for the field goal try. He hits it. From the 13, it is good for 23 yards. And so Georgia built its lead now to 13-7. The penalty wipes off the touchdown. Clemson got away with a little bit of hanky-panky. We'll be back.
Hello?
We're ready for the kickoff. It's Georgia leading 13-7. And the crowd coming up as Butler lines them up. And the deep people for Clemson are Kevin Mack and Chuck McSwain. Bulldogs leading by 6. And there still is not a return on a Butler kickoff. Let's go back now to the play where Clarence Kay runs into, or he's run into by Andy Hedden here.
It's clearly interference. The only way number 12, Andy Hedden, can avoid a touchdown is to use his hands. He turns and takes his left hand and pushes play down. He was beaten on the play. That was his only choice, and the officials missed it, costing Georgia a possible touchdown, a first down on the 1-yard line.
Of course, Georgia had a touchdown and went offside and lost it as a result of that. But that looks to me like clearly a foul. All right, Homer Jordan goes to the air. Pass for K.D. Dunn. Incomplete. He was popped out of bounds by Ronnie Harris.
Boy, is Georgia fired up. Another fine play by Ronnie Harris, the left defensive cornerback. Gave very little cushion. Didn't worry about the deep passing. Came up and just was right there for the play. Homer Jordan has not had the typical performance that he usually has.
Second down and 10 from the 20-yard line for Clemson. Back this time and has time. Goes to his short man. And it's McSwain out of the backfield for a first down. Up around the 33-yard line. So Tigers get a little more real estate to work with now as Flack makes the tackle for Georgia.
I think that Clemson has now changed their strategy. And since Homer Jordan, the fine rollout quarterback, Keith can't get outside, he's throwing from the pocket, using unlimited possibilities with 5 receivers. And I think that's what they might have to go to win this ball game.
All right, they flex the tight end Dunn now. Wide toward the bottom of the picture. He's got 3 wides.
He's changing the play at the line.
And he stays on the ground with it. Gives it off to the Kevin Mack, the fullback. He's from the 33 up to about the 35. Second down and 8 coming up.
You know, the Clemson coaches know that this is a very important drive. They've got to get something going. Georgia has the momentum. They have the fans. Clemson's playing on the road. They need to move this ball down the field and have some success. Jordan's going to have to do it, dropping back, throwing out of the pocket, I believe.
Goes to Mack. Mack bounces off one tackler, and then Flack comes up to bring him down. He's going to be a couple of yards short of his first down. Well, you know something, we're talking earlier about Georgia not having the great speed with Lindsey Scott, for example, who's gone, who graduated. Clemson doesn't have the Terry Tuttles or the Jerry Butlers anymore either.
No, really the only fast wide receiver in the ball game is Frank Magwood of Clemson. He does have speed to get deep.
Timeout called here by Clemson. They want to talk 2 yards to go on 3rd down with 7 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, and Georgia leading 13-7.
Florida Gators, led by sensational quarterback Wayne Peace, plus other regional games. Another reason to watch NCAA college football Saturday on ABC.
3rd down and 2 coming for the Clemson Tigers. The Clemson Tigers, who were the national champions in 1981. They're trailing by 6 points. And we're coming up at the halfway point. Actually, just past the halfway point on this 3rd quarter. They need a short yardage play here. They have not been successful on this type of circumstance against the Georgia defense. 3rd and 2. And they're not successful here as Georgia buried Kevin Mack. They tried to send him over the left side. They sent him right at the side where Jimmy Payne was.
I wouldn't run at Jimmy Payne. That's the last thing I would do. Clemson tried to move Georgia out with 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 2, Keith, a change from their regular strategy, and it didn't work.
Georgia didn't nibble at all.
They didn't take the fake.
Hatcher to punt. A good one. Harrell watching it. Runs out of bounds to catch it. And they're going to mark him out. Outside the 20, up around the 24. On September 18, the first night game ever at Notre Dame Stadium, the Michigan Wolverines come calling against the Fighting Irish. Bo Schembechler's ball club and Jerry Faust. Faust trying to get things reordered at Notre Dame after slipping to 5-6 a year ago. It'll be at 9 Eastern Time Saturday night, September 18. All right, now Clemson's defense got to get their back up a little bit here. Georgia is on a roll right now. Lastinger gives the ball to Herschel Walker. And he moves up across the 25 to the 26 for a couple of yards. So apparently after carrying the ball a couple of times, and Bill Lewis, the defensive coordinator for Georgia, the man he's talking to is Terry Hogue, the rover.
Terry Hogue would know what he's saying. He has a grade point average, Keith, of 3.85 in genetics. He can understand it. Bill Lewis, a great young coach.
2nd down and 8 for Georgia. Lastinger fakes it to Walker, rolls out, loops a pass down the sidelines. It is caught out of bounds up at the 45-yard line by Kevin Harris, number 20. It was play action. The fake to Herschel Walker froze some people in the Clemson secondary, and Harris was open.
We talked about earlier that Herschel Walker draws a crowd. When the other tailbacks faked up there, the Clemson defense wasn't fooled, but here is patience by Lastinger, the quarterback. And he takes his time, he pulls up, and he puts the ball right on the money for the first down.
Just short of the 45-yard line.
Different looking quarterback for Georgia this half.
That's Chuck Jones, number 1 in motion. Walker's got it, puts it in his left hand, and they bury him after a couple of yards. Edgar Pickett, defensive end, a junior from Lexington, North Carolina, makes the play. Well, they're not going to give him anything. He actually moved it no more than 6 inches. Second down. There's contact. Walker's got the ball, and he's outside. Holding the ball in the right hand, of course, is something that's just going to get all the doctors terribly upset.
Well, Herschel had the ball in his left hand, as you've already mentioned, and that makes it very difficult to cut back. And it's very dangerous to cut back with the ball in your left hand,
yes,
because the defense will be coming from inside out and have a good shot at the ball.
Let's see whether or not there was procedure by Georgia or encroachment by Clemson on the penalty.
Well, I tell you, they're making a longer discussion than I thought. I thought it was clearly that Clemson just anticipated the wrong snap count. Evidently, there's more to it than that. It's going to be both sides, all sides.
Illegal procedure.
against the red team. Offsides against the white team. They're offsetting fouls.
Well, we'll do it again.
That's what all the talking was about. One official called it one way, other official called it another. Let's watch it again, see if we can determine. There is Perry. He is offsides. Now, Georgia could have moved the ball. I didn't see the center move the ball.
Whatever, it's second down and 10. From the 45 for Georgia. Fullback. And Scott Williams gets 5 as he goes to midfield.
This Wayne Ratliff is having a good time. Number 55, 6'5", 230. He's blocking on 320-pound William Perry, who jumps to the right, guesses wrong. Ratliff just puts his shoulder pad right in that good tummy and rolls him out of there. And he rolls back and makes the play. That's great second effort by William Perry.
It is third down and 4 for Georgia. The ball near the Clemson 49. They blitz it. He gets the ball away to Chuck Jones. Jones has got his Georgia first down. So Lastinger, under the pressure of a blitz, fires quickly to Jones, and Chuck takes it for the first down.
As a coach, I would say this is the best play of the game for John Lastinger, because the blitz was on and he threw immediately and he got the first down. He is coming on, the making of a quarterback. I think we're seeing it right now, and Georgia fans and players and coaches are very happy.
At the Clemson 42, first down. Fumble. Georgia keeps it. Again, Radloff wound up with the ball because Johnny was out of it. Lastinger was out of it. And Radloff felt it was loose and just sat down on it.
Well, let's watch it again, see if we can tell. There should be 0 deviation in this exchange. You work on it by repetition, and there's the ball on the ground. No, Lastinger comes right back on
did get it, yeah. Second down, he gained about a yard, and 9. Walker with it. Herschel Walker gets a first down at the Clemson 31. At about 10 yards.
One thing that Herschel Walker does, he runs with his eyes. He is in no hurry to get through the line of scrimmage. And listen to these fans. Oh, that's got to make Herschel feel good. But Herschel runs anywhere across the line that he sees a little daylight.
First down, Bulldogs just inside the Clemson 32. 3:20 to go, third quarter. Lastinger getting heat from the backside, gets his pass off. It is complete. It is caught by Charles Jr. They mark him at the 20, and that is another Georgia first down.
Here we're going to see patience. We didn't see this in the first half. John Lastinger, he's going to take his time, read the defense, look at the tight end, and turn and throw the junior over on the boundary. Look how wide open Junior is, right on the boundary. The reason for that, Lastinger looked inside and looked the defense away.
Impressive possession by Georgia. Walker hit behind the line of scrimmage. Never had a chance to really get started that time. Ray Brown was the first man to get to him, big number 72.
I think our fans it's worth mentioning for them that John Lastinger, in his 3 years at Georgia, one was redshirted. He's completed 7 passes out of 18 going into this ball game. 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
Herschel now 6 carries for 11 yards net. There was a loss on that play of 2. Second down, 12.
On a blitz,
and it works. That's Tim Childers, who can be a wild man out there. Childers came firing in.
He's the strong safety. He timed it beautifully. He disguised it while Lastinger was calling his signals from the right of your screen. There's no way the left guard, who is pulling out the block, can get there in time. Tim Childers tackles Latzinger for the loss. Now it's 3rd and long yardage.
3rd and 21. Junior in motion. Pass is away and incomplete. Intended for Clarence Kay. Rod McSwain defending. The way the rule on the pass situation this year reads, it must be a catchable pass.
Well, McSwain gives very little cushion. That is a perfectly played defensive effort by McSwain because close to the goal line, and the fact that Kay is a tight end, he did not give any cushion. He was right there for the play.
And Butler is in. 48-yard field goal try. It is up. It is no good. He hooked it out. So Butler misses from 48 yards with 1:34 to play in the 3rd quarter, and it's still 13-7 Georgia. Apparently, the thumb is of no discomfort to the man, but I again would remind you, as I did in the preseason program, this is the same young fellow who played with a dislocated shoulder the whole second half against Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl game. He's a willing fellow. From the 31, Homer Jordan goes short to Chuck McSwain, and he gets it out to about the 36, maybe the 37.
Young Terry Hogue played that beautifully, Keith. He dropped off and defended against the deep curl and came up and made the tackle for a 5-yard gain on the short line.
2nd down and 5 from the 37. Stockstill and Magwood are the wide people. Jordan now 7 out of 14 with 49 yards. Not many yards. Homer on a roll. Gets it off to the sideline. Stockstill makes the catch. Good catch by Jeff Stockstill up at the 45. And it's a Clemson 1st down. Now the Tigers start to move it a little bit.
And they're moving it through the air, which is what I think you're going to have to do against Georgia. The defense are crowding the run in a tight tackle 6. Tackles and guards and linebackers are in right over that middle. You've got to throw the football against that defense.
Clock running at 1:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. Jordan hands the ball off inside. That's going to be another Clemson 1st down.
Kevin Mack has 4.4 speed, but it's a draw play. Fake pass and run. As Jordan takes the ball back to Kevin Mack, number 20. Look at the hole because Georgia was rushing the passer. Forts, number 42, misses the play. Look, that's great coaching. Kevin Mack sees trouble coming up and puts both hands over the ball and makes the 1st down and still protects it.
Bad news right here for Clemson. It's Frank Magwood, the wide receiver, really the man of speed for the Tigers, and they're working on either a knee or an ankle. It's a knee.
Magwood is the best blocking of the wide receivers for Clemson. He's a tough, mentally tough youngster. And let's see how he did get injured. Here he is going down, knowing it's a draw play. He's looking to the inside, and now his feet go out from up under him. And look at the right knee. The right knee bent up under it. That can be serious. I hope that it's not.
He is being now assisted off the field.
Keith, I've seen that happen so many times when player slips and that knee curls up under the body and the body fell on top of the knee.
So Magwood leaves the ball game. Let's hope it's not serious because he's a fine young athlete, and I know that Danny Ford and his people need him. Kendall Alley is listed behind him at the flanker spot.
Clemson has looked good on this possession, mixing up the draw play and passing.
1st down. The ball at the Georgia 42. Homer Jordan. Outside it goes to Mack. He's inside the 40, and an ankle tackle at the 39 kept him from going much farther. Terry Hogue made that play. If he doesn't make that tackle, he's gone for some yardage. Coming up next Saturday, USC and Florida. It's in Gainesville. John Robinson and his folks are packing ice right now.
Oh, that Florida looked great in the victory over Miami last Saturday.
Charlie Pell's bunch. The other games reflected there you'll see in your area. Check your local listings for the games. As Jordan rolls out on 2nd down and 7. Homer's quickness keeps it alive. He completes the pass to Stockstill, who loses his footing and falls down. And Stockstill had some room. He might have been able to pick up a first down. But the third quarter is over. Georgia leading 13-7. And we will continue after this commercial message and the word from our local station. We're going to the final 15 minutes of the football game. The 51st meeting between Clemson and Georgia. And Georgia leads by 6, 13-7. 3rd down and 5 for Clemson at the Georgia 37. Jordan's pass is away. Double coverage. Incomplete. The pass intended for Magwood, who had come back into the ball game. And Frank went as high as he could, trying to come down with it, but he had 2 men around him.
Ronnie Harris, the left halfback, gives very little cushion. He's playing man for man. Watch him show up on your screen. Number 27. He goes over the top. He had man-for-man coverage, and he deflects the ball. Sanchez, the safety man, number 31, assists him. It's incomplete, and now Clemson has to punt the ball.
Jimmy Harrell will go deep for Georgia, and Hatcher going to try to kill it deep. Low snap. Shoots it up in the air. They got a chance at this one. No, carries too far. It turned over on him. He was trying to spin it up there and let it come down tail first, but he wouldn't do it. And so Georgia takes over the ball, first down at its own 20 with 14:47 to play in the game. Remember, Clemson came in with the nation's longest winning streak and defending national champions. They won 13 in a row, and they won their national championship as a result of their victory over Nebraska in the Orange Bowl. I'll tell you somebody who's sitting watching this ball game with a great deal of interest tonight is a fellow named Lavelle Edwards, who brings his BYU Cougars in here next Saturday.
He'll be watching every play.
Junior goes in motion. Ball goes to Herschel Walker. And sticks his head in the crowd and gets a yard. Jim Scott, number 67, met him in Stockton. Here are the stats for 3 quarters.
You're going to see here that Georgia has really picked up. In fact, Clemson has picked up a little bit with their rushing, but Georgia with Les Stinger having success, gaining confidence. He has now got Georgia moving with the football, and they now lead in yardage gain.
2nd down and 10 from the 20. Again, Finish makes contact.
Number 65 moved.
James Brown, the right guard, moved, and Benish stepped in to make contact, killed the play. The flags flew. And it should be procedure against Georgia.
It's going to be offside. I mean,
offsetting, I think, isn't it?
Well, the umpire did not see that. Watch the right guard move.
Yep.
See, he cannot move. The defensive man has the right to charge into the neutral zone
against the white team. Still 2nd down.
He missed the call. He missed the call. I tell you that the defensive man can penetrate the neutral zone and get back. The offensive guard is restricted. He cannot move.
Wait, 65 move. Now here we go. On 2nd down and 5.
Safety blitz.
Here's Walker. They get him, but not until he is at the 30. That should be a Georgia first down. Trying to run to his right and not being able to carry the ball in the right hand.
And that's a handicap. It's a real handicap because it's just unnatural to cut back, and you can see that he just headed for the boundary. I think if he'd been able to put the ball on his right arm, he would have set the blocker up and used what I like to call a power cut, turning back into the tackle and running over him.
He's just short of the first down by inches. Homer Jordan watching from the sidelines, native of Athens. Put it in the air. It is intercepted. A marvelous play by Terry Kennard. I don't understand the call.
Well, the call is a gamble. It's not worth the risk, leading by 6 points with a foot to go for a first down, and Herschel going over the top. And Lastinger makes a mistake. throwing into the area of All-American. Last year, consensus All-American. Number 43, 6 interceptions last fall, 11 for his career. He is a center fielder deluxe. He can make things happen. He did all of last year. That's a sensational play.
And Clemson now with an opportunity from the Georgia 41. And the play goes on the ground with Jeff McCall carrying down to about the 37. But they got third down and a foot.
Keith, unbelievable that you get to thinking that the defense at Clemson is so good that you're not going to take your best player, run him over your best blocker, and make a foot. As we look at the turnovers are now even, coaches sometimes get outguessed themselves, and I think that's what Georgia did, outguess themselves.
Second down and 7. Homer Jordan sets to throw it, gets it off to Austin coming out of the backfield. And Cliff is belted out of bounds by Terry Hogue.
This is the third time that this same pass has been completed to Austin coming out of the backfield. Jimmy Payne, again, is the key to the Georgia pass defense because he has to apply pressure. Normally, they go put one, not just one man, but two on him. As you can see right there, number 68, the left tackle, Brown, does a good job using his hands, which is legal under the present rule.
Third down and a short 3. Big play here. I don't know.
It's going to be short. By 2 feet, I believe. The spot makes a big difference.
McCall tried to get in behind Big James Farr and wiggle for his first down.
Clemson will go for it, I believe. Circumstances are best served by taking a chance on 4th and 1. Take your best runner and give it to him over your best blocker over the top.
Got everybody spread out here trying to find a little daylight. They're going to let Homer do it. And I think he did it.
It's according to the mark. It's according to where they marked the ball. It's still close, Keith.
Will Forts was the defensive man for Georgia on the play. Sanchez also penetrating in there. He was reaching for all he could get out of that 6-foot frame of his.
You see, Clemson has been stopped 3 times on short yardage. And so what did they do? They again outguessed themselves by going wide against a blitzing defense with a quarterback taking the ball 5 yards in the backfield and trying to turn forward and make it. It's going to be very close. I think it's 2 inches short.
Only way to play
Georgia's ball as they stop Clemson, and we had unusual calls on both sides in that exchange of possessions. Here comes the blitz again, but the play goes up the middle with the fullback, Barry Young. It's the big guys up front now. Defensively for Clemson, it's Glenn, Benish, Perry, Brown, Hedden. They've got to assert themselves against Harper, Weaver, Radloff, Brown, McIntyre, and Kay. It'll be second down and about 7 yards to go for Georgia. 13-7, Bulldogs lead. Quarterback still got it. Turns it upfield. Takes a pretty good lick. But he gets some yardage out of it, about 3. And Dan Benish, 6'6", 252, a senior from Hubbard, Ohio, brings him down.
Defensive coordinator Tom Harper tells me that number 66, William Perry, 6'3", 320 pounds, has extreme quickness. And here's a perfect example of it. Look at him fighting and getting through into the backfield and forcing Lastinger to go wider than he wanted to for short yardage.
Third down and a long 3 now for Georgia. Well, again, the Clemson defense is looking at a big play. It goes to Herschel. And he does not get it. He does not get it. 66 Perry. Number 82 Triplett. Danny Triplett penetrated and got the first blow on him.
There's Perry, number 66 again. Goes around the block a little bit, and he's going to come out and help on the tackle and actually pulls the helmet off of Herschel Walker. Number 66, 320. Can dunk a basketball standing flat-footed.
You're kidding.
That's what his coach told me, and he told me that this morning. I asked him personally. Yes, sir, he said, I can dunk a basketball.
I'm going to go over there and see that. High snap to Broadway. Pressure on, he gets it out of there. Whoa, that was almost disastrous. Billy Davis going to run with it. Can't do it. penalty flag down. Number 28 flying down the field. Melvin Simmons got him. Let's see what we got here. We might have a face mask. Or we might have a late hit.
Well, Georgia had great coverage. It's pointless to unnecessary roughness. Yep,
late hit.
That's 15 yards.
So instead of Clemson being backed up on its own 12, they're going to get the football up at the 27 with 9:33 to play. Get the penalty.
You're going to see number 28, Simmons, make the play. He's got him in good shape. And then number 45, Mike Jones, is going to spear him with his head right there, piling on. And they get a 15-yard penalty.
All right, we're ready to go. Homer Jordan with the ball out at his 27-yard line. Puts back still in motion. Homer still got it. Takes it, keeps it, turns it upfield, and gets it out to the 33. And the man that really took the feet from under is Tommy Thurston, number 60.
What Georgia is doing to try to contain Jordan's sprint-out pass is blitzing the linebacker outside of the containment, giving him an extra man. Once Jordan breaks containment, he runs into the linebacker.
Well, he's run 8 times for 18 yards so far, so they've pretty well controlled him. Magwood is wide. Stock still in motion. Austin. And Cliff Austin gets it out to around the 37, close to a first down.
Freddie Gilbert, number 90, is one of Georgia's premier pass rushers also, combining with Jimmy Payne to make quarterbacks a hard time. But Gilbert's been injured, but he gets in the ball game and makes a fine play. Freddie Gilbert, number 90.
Change coming in for the measurement. We'll let you watch it while I tell you that tonight's game marks the beginning of ABC Sports' 12th year of involvement with an important college football tradition, the Chevrolet Scholarship Program. A program designed to extend recognition to the most valuable player from each school competing in televised play and to reward those outstanding performances with a $1,000 scholarship donation to the General Scholarship Fund of the respective college and university. The Chevrolet most valuable players from Georgia and Clemson will be announced toward the close of tonight's game. It is, as you saw, a first down for the Tigers. Jordan out to McCall, who wanted to throw a pass. He wanted to throw a pass, and Jimmy Payne ate him up.
What makes Jimmy Payne, number 87, so great? Anticipation. He has quickness, but he recognizes the play so quickly that the Clemson team does not have a chance to set it up. Number 87, all Southeastern Conference 2 years ago, last year, preseason All-America. That's a perfect illustration of why.
So there was one of the gimmick plays that they got stuffed with. The referee, Kate Williams, talking now to the two captains.
Defensive holding
against Georgia. I didn't see the flag thrown.
I didn't either.
Well, that one pinches, doesn't it?
Does that change the complexion of this football game? Coming on to 8 minutes left on the clock.
And an illegal use of the hands against the red team. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Palm is open. That's illegal use of hands. He was open. And 5 yards. First down. 1st and 5. After 43. Of Clemson.
Jordan's changing the play.
Yep. Stand up, pop to Magwood on the sidelines. Ronnie Harris brings him down, but he's got a first down, and he's got the football on the Georgia side of the field.
This is the one thing that Homer Jordan did so effectively last year. He read the defensive coverage one-on-one on the boundary and just checked off to the quick pass for the first down.
Remind you, it's 13-7. Touchdown and a conversion, and Clemson's got the lead.
The missed field goal by Kevin Butler early in the third quarter looms bigger and bigger.
Incomplete pass. He had him out there, too. He had Stockstill open, but he missed him.
Well, he's not getting to turn his shoulders downfield because of the blitzing of the Georgia linebacker. The Georgia linebackers are, once Jordan decides to go outside, they run inside and put some pressure on him, and Forts was right there, forcing the bad throw.
He's 11 out of 20 now, 75 yards, 2 interceptions.
And only 18 yards rushing, which is a real effective work by the Georgia defense.
Gets his pass off to McCall. And he's got 6. Maybe.
The theory of Georgia defense is to concede the short pass, hold it to a minimum, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They dropped back and covered the deep man, reacted up, and made the tackle for a short gain.
At the Georgia 41, it'll be 3rd down and 4.
Here, comparison between Jordan and Lastinger.
Simply a marvelous catch by Stockstill. It was right on his fingertips.
Jordan is rolling to the left. It's a very difficult throw. He wants to throw inside, but the man was covered, and Stockstill leaves his feet, juggles the ball, cradles it in time to make it complete. Watch this little maneuver by Stockdale going down the boundary and then outside, turning, establishing eye contact quickly with the quarterback and making the reception.
Chains on the field for the measurement. Could be a first down, or it might be 4th and inches. It's a first down. So the Tigers are still in the hunt. Just inside the Georgia 37.
Well, both defenses have been very impressive. It's very apparent the pride that they take in their work. There's Vince Dooley and the 2 coaches, and it is getting tight, ladies and gentlemen. It is getting tight.
Jordan's going to put it up. Loops it out there, and it's intercepted. He was trying to throw the ball to Cliff Austin, and Terry Hogue went up over the top and came down with a football.
Jordan was throwing the ball. Austin does not even see the ball being thrown. And the little theory that I talked about earlier, Hogue staying back and then coming up, he's in position to catch the overthrown pass, and Georgia has the interception.
Ebb and flow of fortune with 6:45 to play in the game. Man that made the latest big play for the Georgia defense. Now let's see what the Georgia decision will do here. They've got Herschel back there at tailback. Lastinger coming down with it, keeps it, and turns it upfield. You obviously expect them to remain as conservative as possible, but they do need to pick up a first down or 2.
Running 3 downs and making the first down runs 2 minutes off the clock. Each first down, if you can use 3 downs and be successful, you can count 2 minutes off the clock. So we're coming down to 6 minutes and 20 seconds.
Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. And the ball off up front to Scott Williams, the fullback. And he punches on across the 40 to the 42, where Dan Benish brings him down for Clemson.
The Georgia offensive line got some movement on the Clemson defense. Brown at 240, Ratliff 265, Weaver 265.
Now you get Norris Brown in at tight end. You get a double fullback situation in there. They're looking at 3rd down and 3. They've got Williams and Barry Young both in the backfield with Walker.
I bet they don't throw the ball the pattern they did last time for the interception.
Walker behind the 2 fullbacks. And he's got the first down. Second effort. That was a great run.
a great run and an important run. Now, Georgia can use 2 minutes more. Watch it again. You're going to see the two fullbacks leading Herschel. Clemson does not get the fast support. Number 26, Childress, misses him in the backfield. And then Kennard misses him. Kennard makes the play. It was Watson that missed him in the backfield.
Walker again, that little skip, but this time nothing doing, as Hedden was right there. Hedden and Perry. Mr. Perry sort of got him belly button to belly button, and you do stop when you run into him, don't you?
Yes, he's an amazing football player. As we watch him make this play on Herschel Walker, the coaches told me they put him on a diet earlier this fall, and he gained 15 pounds. He gained 15 pounds on a diet. 320 pounds. Look at that guy. Yeah, he's just a sophomore.
You can't put him on cornbread and salty ham with buttermilk. You can't call that a diet. Lastinger keeps it, turns it upfield, and he's got decent yardage out of it.
Well, there is some head knocking going on in that line of scrimmage. The pride of both of these football teams. Why? As we look at Danny Ford, national champion 2 years ago, Georgia. Last year's national champion, Clemson, fighting their hearts out. Toe-to-toe, jaw-to-jaw, as we say. All the spirit of emotion there. There's Vince Dooley.
Third down and 8. He may have to put it up here, but
short, and let Herschel run with it.
Pulls it down. Harrington comes out of the secondary to nail him down, so it'll be 4th down, and they'll have to give up the ball. With 3 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the game, and Georgia leading 13-7.
Both defenses really show you the pride that they take in their play. Critical situations, the defense has made the play throughout the ball game.
Well, let's see what Clemson decides to do. Looks like they're going to go. They got 9 up there. They're going after him.
Just get it off. All he wants to do is catch it and quick it.
They want to take a penalty. They're just going to use up the clock and take the penalty. They're trying to draw them off, trying to get Clemson to jump, and then decided, well, if they don't jump, we'll just sit here and use the clock and take the 5 yards because it won't make that much difference. We're on their side of the field anyhow, so that'll back them up 5, and 3:01 to play.
Delay against the red team.
Every second from here on is going to be important for both teams. Now they'll get it away. And now Clemson's going to have 10 up there. They're going after it.
Be careful and not rough the kicker. That's the one risk you take doing this.
Good try, but he gets it off. And Davis fair catches it at the 21. So the Clemson Tigers with 2 minutes and 55 seconds now to play in the ball game. Get the ball back. There is still time. Touchdown and an extra point. They're ahead. Sanford Stadium on the University of Georgia campus. The 51st meeting between the Clemson Tigers and the Georgia Bulldogs. And this, like so many of them, going right down to the last minute. 26 Georgians on the Clemson squad. 7 South Carolinians on the Georgia team. Little over an hour's drive between the two schools. And they are really clawing and scratching each other tonight. Opening the 1982 season. Danny Ford, Vince Dooley. And here we go. Clemson's ball, first down at their own 21. Homer Jordan gets his pass off. And it's into the crowd. Catch made by one of the equipment men.
Once again, Jimmy Payne and the linebacker, Will Forts, number 42, forcing from the outside, made Jordan throw the pass, going back towards his own goal line. He's not very accurate doing that.
13 out of 24, 86 yards, 3 interceptions for Homer Jordan. He scored a touchdown. Magwood, he's got it.
It's a tie, belongs to the offense.
He's got it. Vince Dooley had to jump out there in a hurry to get some of his people away from the official. 24-yard pickup, and that's the longest gain of the night.
That's
for Clemson.
It's a drop-back pass, throwing out of the pocket, giving Jordan plenty of time to look over the defense, and he goes right over on the boundary. Let's see if it's not a simultaneous catch right there by Magwood.
Well, Tony Flack was there with him, but Frank had the ball first, and as he was falling, Flack seemed to get a hold of it.
See if we can tell from this camera. Magwood is going right to the outside. It's perfectly thrown. He has good concentration. Flack, the freshman, is coming up, but no, Magwood has it all the way. What a great camera shot. It was simultaneous catch. If it was, belongs to the offense.
Magwood is leaving the game. Shaken up, apparently, because the two Georgia players came crashing down on top of him. This is what is important now for Clemson. 2 minutes and 43 seconds to play in the ball game. That hunker down you saw there, that's an old Georgia Bulldog cry. Hunker down, you hairy dog. Homer Jordan gives the ball away to Mack. And Kevin Mack doesn't get a lot out of it.
Must give credit to the Georgia linebackers. They have played outstanding football. Will Ford, Tommy Thurston, and Nate Taylor have just been all over the football field, getting involved in play after play.
Second down, about 7. Jordan comes back the other way with it. The pass is complete. Pass to Chuck McSwain out of the backfield, and he's got another Clemson first down. And the clock stops at 1:47 while they move the chains at the Georgia 41. So Clemson is still in the hunt.
They were trying to get the ball to McSwain, who has 4.4 speed, the fastest player on the Clemson football team and on their track team as well. It's a throwback across, and you see how wide open McSwain is. If he just got one step away from Sanchez, he would have been gone.
Timeout now, and the timeout goes to Georgia.
They wanted to reconnoiter what their plans are going to be. I guess they're thinking a little bit about the Sugar Bowl, how they held the lead going into the last minute and a half and got beat on a touchdown pass the last few seconds of the game.
1:37 to play in the game. Georgia now with one timeout remaining. That's the face of Homer Jordan, who grew up right here in Athens, played over at Cedar Shoals High School. Clemson now has 2 timeouts remaining. So the Tigers trying to benefit from the Georgia expenditure here. You're certainly right, Frank. After that change in the defensive call that opened the door for Marino to Brown winning touchdown pass in the Sugar Bowl, has burned a lot of folks all winter long, summer long.
I'm sure Bill Lewis, the defensive coordinator, and Vince Dooley was deciding, hey, fellas, let's take it easy. 1:37, 2 timeouts. We play our position. We can stop them, and he's just trying to calm them down, not make a critical mistake.
It's first down, Clemson.
He's tight. Vince Dooley is tight. I don't blame him.
Jordan's pass, too short. He was trying to get it again to McSwain, and he just simply did not get the ball to him.
Once again, who was rushing and applying the pressure to the passer? None other than Timmy Payne. What a football game that young man has played tonight. 12 sacks last year during the season. What quickness he possesses, and the theory of rushing the passer is hit the offensive man before he gets set.
Second down and 10. Jordan again sets it. Runs out of time. Tim Crow, 91. Tim overran him for a moment, but he kept throwing and scratching, and Danny Ford wants a timeout with 1:16 to play.
Georgia secondary covered every receiver Clemson sent out of the backfield. Watch Jordan. He has no one to throw the ball to. He looks left, but the receivers are covered. And the only thing he can think to do is try to run, but Georgia was right there, stopping him for no gain.
And so the Tigers will talk and try to find a play to get him in the end zone. Well, nobody left, did they? Not with this barn burner going down to the last seconds.
And the referee's going to have to make a decision on the Georgia crowd noise.
There he is. It's 3rd down and 14 for Clemson. Well, about 13. Jordan getting better blocking around the corner. Gets his pass off, and it goes into the crowd. The intended receiver fell down. Magwood. Remember, he's playing with a sore knee. He's got his knee tucked back under him and apparently strained it earlier. It's probably causing him some discomfort, losing some of his quickness out there. It is now 4th down and 13.
This is the last chance that Clemson has. 4th down and 13. They're going to have to pull out some kind of play because Georgia will concede them the short pass and try to cover everything deep.
Georgia calls timeout. The Bulldogs have now spent their final timeout. With 1 minute and 10 seconds. Everybody trying to collect their wits, trying to find something.
Chevrolet Celebrity.
Well, here we go. Georgia with no timeouts remaining. Clemson with 1. 1 minute 10. But more importantly, it is 4th down and 13 for Clemson. Homer Jordan. Hit just as he throws the ball. It's intercepted by Nate Taylor. Tim Crow hit him just as he threw the football. And Georgia comes up with it. He was trying to go deep, and he just ran out of time.
The best pass defense is a good pass rush. Perfect illustration of it. Disappointed Danny Ford. 13-game winning streak apparently has ended.
Georgia has to do is burn up a minute. Clemson with only 1 timeout. They can only stop the clock 1 time. Lastinger takes the snap. And let's go back and look at the play by the Georgia defense.
The Georgia defense is really to be praised. The only touchdown that Clemson got was after an offensive fumble on the 11th. But you're going to see 61. Crow hit him in the back. The ball goes out. 91 Crow hits it in the back. The ball goes right to the linebacker. And Nate Taylor, a walk-on 4 years ago, made the interception. Young Nate Taylor walked on this campus and led the Georgia team in tackles his freshman and sophomore year.
Again, Lastinger takes the snap and goes immediately to the grass.
And that is it. You can sack up the bench.
The clock ticking off the final seconds. The crowd of more than 82,000, and of that group, at least 76,000 Georgia fans. The clock running it off. The game is over. The Georgia Bulldogs have defeated the Clemson Tigers by a score of 13-7. And Clemson, with the longest winning streak in Division 1A football, the defending national champions, have lost their opening game. But I'll guarantee you, both teams are going to walk a little slow tomorrow morning because it was a fight.
The whirlpool will be full of Georgia players and Clemson, the Clemson players. They are sore. The pride was very apparent in this football game. Both squads gave everything they had trying to win.
Both teams had opportunities. Both teams made mistakes. Final analysis probably evened out. Georgia won it 13-7. Well, they're still standing and cheering and starting all down the streets now as they file out of here, singing "Glory, Glory." That's the song down here when there's wind. On the Georgia side, anyhow. But as Frank said, a noble contest. Our most valuable players were Clemson. William Perry, the middle guard for Georgia. Jimmy Payne, defensive tackle. Their presence, not only what they actually did, both individually and collectively with their teammates, but their mere presence forcing both teams at times to go away from them. So they are the MVPs of the ball game. Each of the universities receiving a $1,000 contribution from Chevrolet for their general scholarship fund. And the blip tonight provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Once again, your final score. The Georgia Bulldogs 13, the Clemson Tigers 7. Travel arrangements made through, promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.